You should get a note at your end saying, "Is it okay to record?" You could
Or
say,
I could leave the meeting.
"You could just go now." Today is January 14th, the year 2022. The year of our Lord is, if they still say that, or
And
AD,
Soylent Green.
Anno Domini, back for you Latin people out
I
there.
used to work with him.
I know his sister, Annie Domani. Here we are, the Power Cosmic Podcast, live and well. And I just said the date and the year. It's a Friday night. It's late night because that's when Jerry and I go out there, get in the car. When it's 6 degrees outside in Connecticut, we start cruising, looking for trouble.
Looking for cold runaways.
Hey, wanna get in a hot car? No, not stolen. I mean, it's got heat. You want to get inside? But yeah, that's what we're doing right now. No, I was actually bored upstairs watching the Eternals, and then started watching episode 3 again of Peacemaker because I fell asleep last night during it. Not because it's boring, it's because when you try to do that binge stuff and you try to watch everything at once, sometimes it's not good because it's like rushing a meal. You know, you don't get to savor every morsel because you get this crazy. I gotta finish it. No, there's no need. There's no contest. We're not getting paid to watch these things. So I'm like, why don't you just savor it? Because I don't want to be sitting talking to Jerry and he refers to something on episode 3 and I haven't got to that point and then he spoils it and then I have to go watch it and then it's worthless. But anyway,
I'm known for that. I'm known for spoiling things.
You are a spoiler alert. So anyway, that's it. Jerry's here. We're live. Jerry, we're going to do a 2-show version. This is the audible. If you're listening to your earphones, you figured it out. This is the audio part.
If you don't see a picture right now.
If you close your eyes and you don't see George Clooney and who do you want to be?
I don't want to be anybody.
No. Who's the guy? I don't know. Who wants to play you?
Dwayne. The guy who played
he just died. Don't do Dobie Gillis.
Bill Murray could play me.
Bill Murray. If you're not seeing Bill Murray and George Clooney or George Ballooney in my case, if you're not seeing that, then you're listening to the Audio Power Cosmic Podcast. Hello, how are you? But if you want to see 2 dazzling, handsome men, then you're watching the video. Which we've only done. I think we did one like 2 years ago when the world came to an end.
I think we did a couple of them before the bars opened again.
Yeah, that was our thing. So God knows if this was back during tolerance times and the prohibition, we would have been a hit. Of course, there was no internet, but we would have been the first. We would have been pioneers.
So if you have visuals,
yes, Jerry is now holding up the giant size IDW artist edition of John Buscema's, what is it, Marvel Heroes? Is that the title?
Marvel Heroes.
And it's a gathering of various books because on the cover, that's the famous Avengers 57. No, that's not 57. That's the Androids Can Cry issue.
And the end of the Vision issue where even an android can cry.
Yep, that's on the cover. And the back cover had, I think that was at Submariner number 8, The Thing versus Submariner.
Yep,
that all black cover, John Buscema. Now, why is that coming out? Is it his anniversary? Was this like 100 years of John Buscema, or
I don't know,
or something? Or they just wanted to do it?
I guess they just wanted to do it. I mean, I donated or scanned some artwork that I own, but it's really cool. I had a bunch of pages that I sent them.
Huh.
Here's one.
Is that brand new? That like just came out on the this week?
I own the art to that cover of the Avengers.
Which one? The left or the right?
The one with them destroying the building or taking the building apart.
All right. What issue number is that? 77?
77.
All right.
Was the Tom Palmer cover inking.
And you scanned it directly from your original and they put it in there? That's nice.
Yeah, it's cool. There's a lot of nice stuff in here.
Is that the actual size? If people don't know what we're talking about, because again, it's a visual and audio. What size is that? Like 18 by 24?
It should. I mean, the artwork in this era, I think that
Well, the book itself is big. It's not 11 by 17.
Yeah. No, but I think they'd already switched for some reason. I think by this point, it feels like in the 1960, I can't remember.
I think 68, the Kirby switched over.
They switched to the smaller size.
Yeah.
The book is pretty big. I think it just includes the 10 by 15. Yeah,
okay.
It's a 10 by 15 art board.
Are there complete issues in there or just random selections?
No, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, it's so big, it's hard to hold up much of this stuff, but they got fold-outs on the
oh, really?
These must be the oversized covers. I mean, it's a fold-out.
Now he would work that big?
Well, these must be from right before they switched over.
No, but I'm saying it would be kind of normal for those guys to draw on pages that big. I mean, that's pretty. That's like
the old artwork was like closer to 12 by 18. That was around the size of the originals before they, made them smaller to 10 by 15.
Yeah.
And it was all about paper and being able to stat them. Stat the things. I forget what it was. It was like the original. They would put them on a photostat machine,
right?
And they would make one stat. They would reduce it down. But with 10 by 15, at one point they used to shoot 4 pages at a time on the stat camera, and a lot of the artwork from that era in the 70s is cut at the corners, almost all the way into the art. They just did a diagonal 45 on each corner so that they could stack the pages closer together.
Wow.
And it probably fit on a 16 by 20 or a 20 by 24 flatbed. You remember the scan beds? Did you ever work?
Oh no, I did that when I worked at Charette. We did in the back room. We had this big vacuum sealed.
Well, it was a glass. It was a glass.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it closed. Ours didn't vacuum seal.
Well, no, we would it was like a sandwich. If people don't know what we're talking about, it would open up and you'd put the artwork in it and you'd close.
And then it would just basically keep it flat, and the camera would shoot. You had big lights. It didn't reflect because the lights were at 45-degree angles.
Right.
The biggest we could shoot at the art studio that I worked at, the biggest stat they could shoot was, I think it actually was a 24 by 36. No, they might have even done bigger because
they were bigger. No, the one that we had at Charette. Yeah.
But if it was anything larger than that, they would have it shot as a transparency because it was usually color. We only did black and white photostats. So I think the largest we could do, I really think ours was 24 by 36.
I remember it was big. We used to do, because we would do blueprints, architectural drawings.
Well, yeah,
those guys would have, the one sheet. I can't remember what we call them, not one sheets, but
was it Terrazzo printing with the ammonia smelling?
Yeah. Back in the day, back in the ancient days, we would get sheets of paper that had this yellow coating on it, and what it was this ammonia triggered paper. And what you did is you took the blueprint, which was on a transparent, almost like a tracing paper. It was on vellum, which is like a see-through paper. And what you would do is you would put that on top of the sheets of paper, and they were like 18 by 24, and you would feed them through this machine, like these rollers, and it would expose it to light, and then the light would burn the image into the paper, and then it would go through like an ammonia base, and the ammonia would turn blue. That's why when you're a kid, you get those mimeographs back in the day, and they'd have that ammonia smell because it was the ammonia emulsion. It would set it off.
But a mimeograph was solvent. That was like you were getting the smell of alcohol and whatever.
It was they would crank it through those little things like this. I remember the school secretary would do the handouts for us. Mimeographs.
Really nasty, but those also they would come out wet, as I recall.
Yeah, they would. Yeah. And then anyway,
this is funny because when I think about 1971 or 72, maybe 71, there was like a company called Finger Hut.
Yeah,
it was a mail order thing.
Yeah, Finger Hut. Yeah.
At one point, my mom really indulged me because she thought it would be handy to have a photocopier.
Wow.
she had a business. She had the tavern,
Mm-hmm.
and it didn't do big copies. It did 8.5 by 11 was the biggest, but it took two pieces. It was actually a two-page process that ran through this machine, and it was a weird thing because the copies came out kind of gray. I mean, it wasn't like super black, but it was probably closer to the process the fax machine used. It was like a thermal printer.
Like a thermograph.
Yeah.
No, I remember that. I remember actually, it's funny you say that. They had an office down here in Stanford, or maybe that was Lillian Vernon, and it was a mail order company. Because when I got out of school, one of the first job interviews I went on was for Finger Hut or Lillian Vernon down here, and I remember going in there, and you would see like support stockings. They would send out these catalogs to like the general Good Housekeeping, Women's Day, those type of magazines, and you would get things like orthotics, like wooden shoes, and you could order all these like little things that you normally would get nowadays at like Walgreens or something. But
you would get them on the Finger Hut thing was based on a time payments. So
installments.
You would buy a sewing machine. They sold sewing machines. They sold appliance type stuff, and you paid like over 10 or like 10 payments. So it's cheap,
Yeah. But the inserts, we would do them. Remember the Sunday supplements you'd get like in the Sunday newspaper in the magazine section, the parade? They'd have like these little catalogs inside there. And that's where you'd see Finger Hut stuff. And I remember that
they
was
did direct mail too. They were one of the early direct mail. They would just send stuff to your, mailbox or whatever.
Yeah. And the guy, the art guy pulled me aside, and here I am, like, I don't know how old was I, maybe 20 years old. And he says to me, he goes, "You don't want to work here." I'm like, "Well, that's why I'm here, do an interview." He goes, "No, you don't understand. You're creative. You'll go insane in about a month doing this stuff, and you'll kill yourself. Don't take this job." So I'm like, wow, okay. That's kind of inspiring, when somebody on the inside's telling you run as fast as you can and don't look back. So
was he wearing the skin of his fallen compatriot?
No. And the funny thing, once somebody tells you that kind of set the mood for the rest of the interview, because I had to still go on and interview with people, but I was like, that guy over there just was like blinking, run for your life, call the police. Get out. It was like a haunted house. I was like, I don't want to work here. And they offered me the job, but after that guy said that to me, I'm like, no, I turned it down. I was scared.
Do you remember how much it paid?
Oh, it must have been a big 15,000 a year, maybe, or something like that. Because this is 1989, maybe, and I was like 22. So yeah, first job out of college. Hey, right now, you and I are living in a time where it's the lowest unemployment since 1969. Now, I was only about 2 or 3, so I don't really remember that too much, but I can't believe that things are as good as they were in 1969. And I talked to Tony, our friend Tony here, because he's an economics professor at University of New Haven. And I said, "Is that true?" He's like, "Yeah, statistically, unemployment's like about 3% right now." I'm like, then why do I go everywhere and I see just help wanted signs, and it doesn't does it seem different to you right now? Like we're living in prosperity, like everyone's working, that, like after World War II, it doesn't seem that upbeat.
It's all robots, man.
Yeah. And he says, well, no, he says, if you want to find a job right now, you could find a job today. You could, because that's what they mean, that there are jobs available. You might not get a 6-figure job. You might not get a $80,000 a year job. But if you want to go to work right now, in about 3 hours, you could probably have your choice of 2 or 3 different jobs.
That job at Lillian Vernon still.
That Lillian Vernon's looking pretty good right about now. I was like, why is there still homeless people and stuff? Because that's not the same thing.
Yeah, but it doesn't gauge whether people want to work.
No, that's
it's
exactly
not intent. I mean, there's a lot of people who don't want to work.
I know. I see them all the time. I think
like
they're
me.
upstairs.
I don't want to work.
I think they're upstairs eating pizza in my house right now. The 2 of them.
Squirrels?
No, we had pizza for dinner tonight. New Haven Pizza. I drove down to Modern and on State Street, and then Sally's Pizza, and we have like different pizzas tonight. And the boys, they ate everything. Okay, I was Sharon's like, "Oh my God, we have 4 pizzas." I go, "Oh, they'll be here till tomorrow." that was at 7 o'clock. It's now 10 o'clock. There's no pizzas left whatsoever. I don't know where they went, how the kids ate them, but God bless them. They're all thin and skinny. I just looked at it.
Piece.
I did not give you a piece, no. And nor was there any beer. It was sad to have a pizza without the beer, the traditional Ordway mess, But it is what it is. Pizza.
Well, I actually been on deadline, so I've been avoiding beer.
Well,
just because if I have a beer, then I know I'm going to kind of probably fall asleep drawing.
How did you get that blur effect, Jerry? Oh, that's my spit. I fell asleep on the book. But,
yeah, there's a really cool wash effect.
Well, no, go back to your John Buscema book for a second. Now, you talked to me, you said a couple weeks ago, maybe we should actually have themes. What the hell was that? Knock something over. I'm never down here at night. I'm like, what the hell is that?
Being attacked.
Is that a mouse? No, it was a toy. It fell over. I don't know what happens down here at night. But no, you said maybe we should have, maybe there should be a point to this show, which is like, Jerry, don't start now. 210 episodes in, you want to start having a theme. But you said maybe you should spotlight certain artists. And since you brought that John Buscema book up, I don't know if you're a big, student of John's, but do you know a lot about him?
Oh, yeah. Well, he was he really was one of my favorites because I liked the Avengers and he drew the Avengers during the time when I was first reading the book.
Yeah.
But I loved his work. And I think through him, I saw like similarities to Wally Wood and like John Severin. And they were all huge Hal Foster fans. So you can like almost directly link those guys to Alex Raymond and Hal Foster, Flash Gordon and Prince Valiant.
Yeah, I heard that he didn't like drawing superheroes. He liked drawing more realistic figures, like horse. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I'd heard.
Well, I was just reading. I guess I'd been catching up on alter egos that I had in a pile. I think I was telling you I was reading ones from 2015, and I was kind of amused. But there's one in there where Roy Thomas is interviewed in his own magazine, like a career-spanning thing, and they were asking about Conan, and he had a story about how Buscema always acted gruff and like he wasn't interested and all that. But the results show the opposite. I think he just had. That was kind of like his persona, to kind of undervalue what he was doing, or to, no big deal. I don't like drawing comics. I don't like drawing this or that. But yet he could, and he did all those things. So, and he drew. I mean, this is a guy who drew on the back. Like you can look at any of the art pages. Almost every original art page you'd find of John Buscema, there's going to be a drawing on the back.
Why?
A little headshot or a study of some weird character in pencil, usually on the back of his pages. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was somebody who was always drawing. I mean, I do admire that, because if I'm not sitting at the drawing table doing an assignment, you really don't draw for fun,
No. Why did they always call him Big John? Was he a big dude? Was he like 6-something?
No, I think he would
picture him being a mountain.
Probably. I mean, think about it. Stan Lee was really rail thin.
Yeah.
And John was more beefy. So I think.
All right. I thought he was more like
nicknames. Yeah.
I thought he was like a giant or something, because I know that other guy, John Verboten, passed away in his 30s. He was a big, I think, heavy set is the term we use.
Like 6'3" or 4" or something.
Yeah. See, that's why I thought they were. I'm picking up my Thor hammer right now.
It's down by my feet. You can lift it.
Well, See, this is why we don't do the shows at home, because we're sitting there talking and I'm like playing with all the stuff around, and you got props over there too. No. So I'm trying to think, when is John Buscema's first work with the Marvel? It's got to be Avengers, right?
No, his first thing was he did I think it was Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh, really?
Those 10 pagers that Kirby had started doing it, and then they had Jack did a bunch of them, and then they had tried. I guess Stan Lee had given John Buscema one, and Kirby had done the breakdowns. So the board came to Buscema with panel breakdowns and Kirby's writing under and above each panel saying what was happening, and then stick figures. And he said that was Stan Lee's method to try to get people to understand the Kirby Stan Lee method of plot style. And I remember reading that he didn't like that, so he erased all the layouts and he just did his own thing.
Oh, okay.
And it's funny because I own one of those pages too.
Yeah.
And it's nice that he didn't erase Kirby's
notes.
Notes, because the notes are pretty extensive. Like
really?
A couple of sentences for each panel saying what's happening, or character is happy, sad, whatever. I mean, that's what Kirby meant by writing a story, is that he visually would write a story even if he didn't finish it. But yeah, I love Buscema stuff from that era all the way up to the end, really. I mean, he was he was good up to the end. And that was something mentioned in Alter Ego back in that issue I was reading, was that he had apparently he had done a miniseries that is not finished, but it's penciled, that DC just basically put in a drawer and never used.
Is it a Superman?
It was like a Superman Elseworlds or
no, I had heard that too.
And
it's sitting somewhere unfinished.
4 issues or something, and I think it had been started by Gil Kane. Then Buscema took it over. I think Roy was the writer on it, and they just wrote it off. They just stuck it in a drawer, and it's kind of a shame to have multiple issues. I would have, if they called me up, I would have inked that thing and finished it or whatever, just to get it out there.
Yeah, you wonder why, because with each day and each year that goes by, you're going to have less and less people that are going to remember.
Well, they have no vested interest in making John Buscema popular or keeping him.
That's what I'm saying.
They have no vested interest in keeping any creator popular, because it's all about the company. Think about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not saying this to be depressing or anything, but you read about any character, it's Marvel's this or DC's that, based on DC characters, based on Marvel characters or whatever. It's, they could easily say who did what that inspired somebody, but they don't. It's because it's company property and it's company owned, lock, stock, and barrel.
No, you said that too before. They don't want it. They're not in the world of they're not in the business of making superstars anymore. No. That's why you don't see certain people on books for years and years and years. It's because it's the characters, not the guy who's drawn it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and they they learned their lesson, I think, when
Image.
The time when Image first hit. Yeah, that was a big problem for DC and Marvel. They were feeling like all the good talent was going to go and do their own properties.
You think that's why they started that rotation since the 90s? For the last 20, 30 years, they're still doing that?
Well, what they did, one thing that they did do, I don't know about that specifically, one thing they did do specifically was when Image hit, they made I know DC did it. I don't know what Marvel did previous, but DC only sent staff to conventions from that point. They used to send a lot of freelancers to shows. And you'd sit at the booth and they would pay your way to go to San Diego or to Chicago Con or something. And they would pay for your hotel and they would pay for your,
Wow, and I wish those days were still here.
And after that point, they made a concerted effort to start sending staff, because number one, they could control what the staff said. They could control the staff being on time at the booth or whatever. Yeah. And, they would promote whatever DC told them to.
Well, they were company guys. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, that changed. The big thing for having artists not be able to do long-term run on a book is the company needs to help that happening. Like Greg Capullo and Snyder did Batman, but they didn't require Capullo to write 2 issues of Batman a month.
No.
You know what I mean? That was once they started upping the frequency of the books. If you write 2 Spider-Mans, very likely not going to be able to get an artist who can draw 2 Spider-Man issues a month. Yeah. So it breaks it down into, okay, one artist will do maybe 4 issues straight, or they do back and forth among multiple people. So you don't really get a you don't get that one, oh, look at how this guy really developed and he's making a mark for himself on.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to think of, like, you got Bagley and Bendis on that Ultimate Spider-Man for like 10 years.
Yeah.
And then, well, Dan Slott wrote Spider-Man for a good 10 years. I think he's got the record right now, maybe for the most. But that's a writer. I'm thinking artist-wise, during his run, he went through like Humberto Ramos and Ryan Otley. They kept rotating artists out.
Yeah.
But even though the writer stayed the same, the artist kept switching.
Yeah, it was, to me, that was just a terrible thing to try to double up. I don't, as a reader, I hated it.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I don't want to read Spider-Man every 2 weeks.
No, I know. It's too much. No,
if they're different titles, it's different because you can choose not to read the Spectacular Spider-Man.
Right. You can pick which one. Yeah.
But they know that if they put out 2 Spider-Man books a month, that's from the same series, that the anal retentive fan is going to go, oh my God, yeah, both of them.
No, I remember when they first introduced Spectacular Spider-Man, it was like a big deal back in the 70s. I'm like, okay, which book are you going to pick? But at the time, they were still cheap, so you'd get both. But then you had Marvel Team Up. So you really had 3 Spider-Mans a month, but they were all like in their own little worlds. Like Marvel Team Up was just like one-off adventures, had nothing to do with the regular one.
Fun because it showed, Spider-Man would interact with other characters.
And then, and Spectacular Spider-Man, because the title said Peter Parker. It was implied it was going to be more about his personal life and his friends and relationships. And then that slowly, it just became like Amazing Spider-Man. And then they started the Web of Spider-Man and then just Spider-Man and good God, I can't even think of the Tangled Web of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Sinister Spider-Man. There's a new one. Speaking of writers and artists coming back.
The Many Loves of Toby Gillis.
Romita Jr. is coming back.
I saw
that was announced this week. Yeah, I had known that was happening, but I didn't think it was this quick. But I think it's only a mini series, or he's going to do the first run, and then somebody else is coming in. He's not going to do it all the time. But that was cool. I saw a lot of people because he did Spider-Man for so long.
Yeah, and he's really associated with it. I think. Yeah, I would definitely buy that.
Yep. So that's coming out too. I mean, it's the 60th anniversary of Spider-Man. Hence, if anybody noticed, I posted the Terrificon poster for the year, drawn by some guy named Jerry Ordway, and it was a salute to Amazing Fantasy's 15, where Spider-Man, in a cover drawn by Jack Kirby, is swinging across the sky in his intro appearance with a ne'er-do-well bad guy under his arm, and that's his introducing. So what Jerry's done is made Captain Terrificon in the same pose, flying across the sky at Mohegan Sun, and the ne'er-do-well is me underneath his arm, with using his Herculean strength to lift my.
Well, he's got the proportionate strength of
a terrific
Captain Terrificon.
Exactly. Yeah, he's going to need it too, especially after all that pizza tonight. But yeah, that's on the and also I don't know. It's like the cat out of the bag. Once you rip open the wrapper at Christmas, you already know what you're getting. Look, I already know who's coming to the show. Not everybody, but I know a good amount of people coming. So there is going to be a heavy Spider-Man salute at the show this year. That's right. You heard it. Tobey Maguire's coming. Now, wouldn't that be something? I'm lying. It's Andrew Garfield. Well, wait a minute. No, it's Tom Holland. No. It's the 80-year-old guy that played him on the Electric Company that you never saw.
You're too cheap to fly anybody in from London.
That's true. That's the God's honest truth. I almost had Nicholas Hammond 2 years ago until a crazy little thing called COVID. That sounds like a song from the 80s, doesn't it? Crazy little thing called COVID.
Well, that was a Queen song, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, anyway, that's what knocked Nicholas Hammond out. He was coming to the show. But
question for you.
Yeah.
Did you watch the new CW show, Naomi?
It was on after this week's Superman and Lois. And no, I DVR'd it, but I have not watched it yet because once again, there's too many damn superhero shows on to keep up with everything. And I had to watch 3 Peacemakers, 1 Superman and Lois, 1 Boba Fett, Eternals. This is all since Tuesday night, and today's Friday.
You already saw the Eternals.
I know, but it's at home now, so there's some weird thing that you have to see it again. I did anyway. Something else was on that I had a rush to watch, but no, I did not. And that's Naomi's based on the Brian Michael Bendis character that he brought with him when he went to DC when he took over Superman. I think 2 years ago already. It's been
Longer.
a while. Has it been longer? Really? Oh my!
Launched after Action Comics 1000, I think, or whatever that
was.
was.
Yeah, that's right. I remember you were at those signings. So that was back in 2019, 2018?
Oh, it had to be earlier than that. It
had to be really?
2016, maybe 20.
No, when were we all at comics with you, me, and Tomasi? And
it was several years ago.
Was it really been that long?
Yeah.
You know, the problem is you got that COVID year where nothing happened for a whole year. So literally it's like a skip year. It's like, wait a minute, what happened? 2020? So 2020 doesn't count. So if you add 2020 in, I think you're right. I think it was 2018, wasn't it? That's the 80th anniversary of Superman. Yeah.
I would say 2017. Just
no. You know how I know it's 2018? Because that's when we moved over to the Expo Center, and I made the giant birthday card for Superman, and we were trying to get everybody to sign it for his 80th anniversary, trying to get the Guinness World Book of Records.
But was that tied to Action Comics 1000?
Yeah, that was the whole year. That was the Superman year. That was the anniversary year, because we had the panel, 80 years of Superman.
Right, but I don't know how that I don't know that directly relates to 1000 issues of Action Comics.
Wasn't it all the same year?
I don't know.
Don't make me go look it up. But anyway, yeah, so going back to it, it's happened sometime in the last 5 years. But it's anyway, not that long. It's show. Not. Oh my God. Anyway, Naomi, what about it?
Right. There's a bunch of Superman references in it.
Oh.
But it seemed to indicate that it's not set in a superhero universe.
Oh, so it's not connected to the CW show?
I thought the show was interesting. It had a good feel. It didn't feel like the kind of standard CW show either, you know?
What's the premise? She's an alien being, correct?
The premise is she's just a young kid who's a big superhero fan.
Oh.
And maybe she has some mystery about her past or whatever.
Yeah.
They play with it kind of coyly, but it was I thought it was well done. The one thing I was going to mention, since we were talking about artists, is in all the press, they mention the director, the producer, they mention Brian Bendis, they mention David Walker, but they don't really mention the artist, who I can't even remember, Jamal something. Is it Jamal Campbell or Jamal something?
I don't know. The only Jamal I know is Jamal Igle.
Yeah, there was, anyways, but they're all three were the co-creators, as I recall, and none of the, the promo stuff just mentions writer, which just does tick me off, because comics a visual medium. It's the, kind of annoying perception that, the writer is the guy who does everything, which is so far from the truth. And I don't want to undervalue the writer, but I just think the perception is skewed towards, look, the writer, like he's a novelist.
Well, look at Hollywood. The writer was always the last guy in the totem pole. You always hear best director, best actor, and there would be like, oh yeah, somebody wrote this, and that for years.
They do that with the artist, because the director kind of relates to the artist in a way. I'm just saying it. I've been noticing it in the last couple of weeks. Whenever I see some promo thing, it talks about the writer or the creator, and only talking about the writer. So it's
all right. Switch over to Peacemaker on HBO Max. Now I don't understand. Wait, real quick. Here's another dumb thing. Being a boomer like I am, is there any HBO at all anymore, like regular HBO, or is everything just HBO Max now?
HBO is on my cable.
Okay, so it's two separate servers, because I only have HBO Max because I got it free with my AT&T, so I don't even know anymore. So there is still just regular HBO.
It's still Showtime, HBO. Those.
Okay, no. So I asked that because if you want to watch Peacemaker, you have to have HBO Max, right?
Well, if you have HBO on your cable,
you automatically get HBO Max.
You automatically sign in.
Okay.
Max. So you have it, it's not available on your cable.
Gotcha.
It's only available on the app.
Oh, see, it's even more complicated. Don't they understand that
it's not that complicated though.
It is. Oh, come on, man. Sometimes
if you pay for HBO on cable, you're automatically subscribed to HBO Max.
All right.
And you just have to sign in with your cable info.
I get you, but I try to explain these things to my 84-year-old mother, and it's not easy. It's not easy because I gave her one of those Fire. Look, she has a smart TV. I've already wired it. I've already downloaded the apps to it. She doesn't get the whole thing where she has to switch the inputs to get the other thing, but she has one of those Amazon Fire tablet things, which has the apps on there too. So she will watch HBO and all these things on the tablet. And I go, Ma, it's on the big screen. You don't have to kill your eyes. You can watch this if you just press that button and it says, input, and you can go to, no, that's okay. So whatever. I try. But anyway, going back to the HBO Max, and you're going back to your stuff. Peacemaker starts this week. There's no mention of who created that character, because again, that's a Charlton character, but then it went over to DC, and I know Kupperberg worked on it, and I couldn't tell you who was I know Pablo Marcos inked some of it. I don't know even who was the artist on the Peacemaker
from the
series.
Charlton days?
No, from the DC. Forget the Charlton. Charlton, it's got to be Frank McLaughlin, probably, right?
No, I think it was Pat Boyette was the artist.
Oh, okay.
And I think Joe Gill might have been the writer.
Oh, Joe, yeah. I have that. I got that. Remember when we would go to Black Cat Comics?
Yeah.
He had Peacemaker books. I remember laughing, going through them, go, what's this? So I picked up Peacemaker #1 because, frankly, Charlton comics weren't even worth the paper they were printed on, most of them. They were such bad. But I got Peacemaker 1. I do think that's going up in value now because of the show and the Suicide Squad.
And you've never read it?
I did read it, and I was like, it's okay. It's all right. But then who's the one that came up with the whole, his metal helmet is like possessed, or it's got some type of
No, I thought the ghosts or the spirits of all the people killed were in his helmet. That was wasn't that wasn't Kupperberg, was it?
I think that was the DC thing. Yeah, that might have been Kupperberg's doing.
Yeah, no, it wasn't in the original. It was they were trying. No. I think they did more with him in the comic book Checkmate back in the 80s. You remember Checkmate?
That's Wolfman, isn't it?
No, I think Checkmate was I think it was Kupperberg.
Oh, okay. Although I remember Vigilante, then the Checkmate is Paul, yeah. And who was it? Steve Lytle? Who's the artist on that?
I don't remember.
They got me going.
No, it was, you mean for the artist of Checkmate was Steve Irwin?
Steve Irwin, that's it. Yes, okay, because I knew it was Steve something. I'm like, wait, there's a guy. Yeah. Is he still around?
I think I'm pretty sure he is. He hasn't been doing comic stuff or DC.
No. But I know poor Lytle passed away last year.
He did the second Batman movie adaptation with Garcia Lopez.
I just saw that the other day at Cave. They had it in their back issue bin, the Batman Returns. I'm like, oh, wow. I don't think I've ever seen that. Did they do two versions of that well, like a Prestige and a comic book one?
No, by the time that they just did the one version.
Oh, okay. Well, it's sitting over there in the back issue bin if anybody wants it. So, but going back to that, you talked about artists. They didn't mention anything with that. All I saw was James Gunn, written and directed by James Gunn.
See, the problem watching HBO or any of these shows is that they minimize the end credits, so you can't always see if they did do a thank you to somebody. You don't really get it.
I did not see any of that. No.
Auto plays the next episode or whatever.
I'm gonna have to go back and look and see if they have any DC credits.
They must credit somebody, I would think, but then that's all voluntary. There's no contract.
There's no legal. No.
Yeah. No. Whoever created that thing, didn't own it, and Charlton sold it, and DC owns it, and again, it's just a character. It's not a personal creation of anybody's.
Well, here's the deal about that show, and I said to you, it's a good show. It's a wacky show. It's out there. It's in the vein of that Harley Quinn animated series that was on, which I don't know if that's coming back for a third season, or is that done?
It's supposed to. It is. I think
it is? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's out there, and I don't know if it's going to inspire people to run out and go look for Peacemaker comics, because they're going to be sadly disappointed if they go find any back issue bins, because that's nothing like the old Peacemaker comic. This is more like I told you, Deadpool meets the Punisher meets Captain America.
I told you it reminds me a lot of Super, that movie with that James Gunn had done about the guy who dresses up as a
with Dwight Schultz from
he tries to save the girl from the drug
not Dwight Schultz. What's his name from The Office? Played Dwight in The Office. I'm blanking on his name right now.
I could look it up, but I'm using my iPad to broadcast.
No, I know. And it's sad when you get to be this age. And I'm only 55 and I can't remember people like this.
Mitch, it's me, Jerry.
Who? How are you? Jerry with a G? Gary? Gary, is that you? Steve Carell. And
I can't think of it either.
What's the
when you start thinking about it,
the big guy that was and the Jack Ryan, he was going to be Captain America. The big
played Jim.
The guy that played Jim. The real pretty girl played the girl.
Pam.
I
know all the characters.
Oh, forgot. No, this is sad. This is what it's come to. Either we're recording late at night sober and we can't remember these people's name. Dwight Schrute was played by. If you're watching this and you can see the visuals, we're not lying right now. I'm drawing a blank, and Jerry's laughing because we have no idea. If I was doing this audio, I have my phone. I can look it up, but I do this to myself all the time. My wife said, your brain has turned to mush being home, working from home for the last 15 years or whatever. So, who? COVID? I have COVID fog right now. You know what? You can't write off stupidity by that.
It would not surprise me.
Office cast. I'm going to do it. Talk amongst yourself. This is the magic behind the scenes here on the show.
We should plug.
Jenna Fisher. I was going to say Jenna. The other guy is John Krasinski.
Be dating.
Rainn Wilson.
Yes.
No wonder I couldn't remember his name, for God's sakes. I was going to say Jenna Kempler, but I combined Ellie Kemper with Jenna Fisher.
You mangled her last name.
I know. The only one I could remember he played himself was Creed Bratton.
Yeah.
And they never really figured that out. Oh, speaking of which.
Is he coming to Terrificon?
No, but one of the guests who's coming to Terrificon is the current writer and one of the co-creators of The Simpsons, Mike. Let me look up his name right now.
Is he the guy who's local? Is he the one who?
He's the guy from Connecticut. Yeah, the guy from
Mike,
Bristol.
Is it Reese or Rice?
Yes, that's you. Yes, you are correct. You are correct, sir.
Yes,
Mike Reese, Reiss. I'm sorry, Mike. I have a lot going on. Look at me right now. I couldn't remember Rainn Wilson, and he's been on TV for a long time. But anyway, he will be coming to Terrificon. He'll be talking about his book, I think it's The Complete History of Springfield, which is the town, or The Complete History of the Simpsons, which is in Springfield.
Right.
And he will be at the show this year, the Mighty Terrificon, happening July 29th to the 31st here in Connecticut, and you're there. So if you're a Simpsons fan, you can come and talk to him. He'll tell you all about the history of the show, and all about the other things going on.
So, Mitch, you liked Peacemaker, didn't you?
I did like Peacemaker. It is so out there. It was laughed out loud funny. Iggy, his eagle, that's what he named it. when it gave him a hug and it was sitting at the dinner table.
It's Eagly, isn't it?
Is it Eagly? Is that Eagly? I don't know what he was saying, but they were like, yeah, if you had a dog, would you name him Dogly? I'm like, well, yeah. If you had a daughter, would you name her Daughterly or something like that? But there's that scene where he's at the dinner table. His dad is played by Robert Patrick, aka the T-1000 from the Terminator 2 movie, and they're having dinner, and the eagle's sitting at the dinner table like nothing. And they all start telling a joke, and they're laughing, and the eagle's laughing as well. And I'm like, this is so messed up.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've
it was funny that he could only connect with his racist dad.
Yeah.
By talking about blood sport.
Yeah, yeah, being afraid of rats. Yeah,
locked in a box of rats.
Yeah.
That made him laugh. That was actually pretty dark and funny.
Yeah, it was. It really. Yeah, I don't get it either. But then the dad had some like secret. I don't care. Spoilers. Look, people, go watch TV. What else you gonna do? It's freezing
There's
out.
clearly a story going on with him. I mean,
Oh God, yeah.
backstory, yeah.
But when he had that like secret dimensional room.
Helmets. I like the helmet that you would get. What was it? You get scabies.
Well, yeah, scabies. Every man should have scabies. And I'm thinking to myself,
why would you want to have that?
Why would you want to have a helmet that does that? But no, he has this weird portal, like interdimensional back room workshop where he opens a door and they have like this giant Doctor Who warehouse in his little house, you know? But yeah, I liked his hair. That was the best hair I'd seen on TV in a while.
Well, his hair looked like he should have been in the Righteous Gemstones.
Oh,
because every character in that, they all have the bouffant.
They have the bouffant. Yeah. No, it was funny.
The third episode was very dark and less jokey.
Yeah.
It definitely. It also, I mean, it's definitely worth, if you think, oh, maybe it's a little too rough for you, or it's a little too. If you hang through the episode to episode 3, you get a little bit more of a sense of what it's going to be about, which I thought was.
Well,
I like that they built it slowly, you know.
I like the opening sequence, the opening title sequence, the little dance number they do.
Oh, everybody gets to dance too.
Yeah, and they so much demand that James Gunn has put that out today on regular YouTubes or whatever the hell you call it. So everybody, that even if you don't have the
how old are you?
If you don't have the HBO Max, you can go watch it right now on the YouTubes. That was great. I love that dance sequence. I was like, I could watch that all day. In fact, I did watch it a couple times, you know.
Yeah.
There's some fun stuff happening in there. If you watch when they do the title come across the screen and the eagly shows up and does the thing, watch John Cena. He's like gasping for air from doing the dance thing, and he's just trying to stay in position, but he's going like that. That's little stuff like that makes me crack up. So that's funny. Who's the actress in there? Jennifer. I'm going to say Jennifer Holland.
I think that's it. Yeah, she was.
Yeah, I remember her, but I can't remember Rainn. I've only seen her 3 times, but I remember her quite easily.
Yeah,
she's something.
It's got a good cast. I think the entire backup team or whatever is pretty good.
You know, that guy was supposed to be a Terrificon this year, but he's coming in 2023. The Steve Agee. He's the heavy set guy with the beard.
Yeah.
He was from Guardians of the Galaxy. He was one of the Ravagers. He was coming.
Did you know he's
6'7"?
6'7"? His Internet Movie Database says he's 6'7".
I believe it. He's a big dude.
That's a big guy.
Well, he's coming to Terrificon next year, kiddies. So don't get yourself all in a bunch, because he was supposed to come this summer, but he was going to come with Sean Gunn, James Gunn's little brother. But Sean Gunn is going to be at Terrificon 2023, not this year, because Guardians of the Galaxy 3 comes out next year. And I said it would make more sense to bring him next year because the movie will be coming out that summer, and we're going to have some more surprises. See, that's how weird it is. I've got stuff planned for freaking 2 years from now or a year and a half from now. But anyway, Steve Agee was going to come this year, but I said, nah, hold up. Come next year with Sean Gunn. But I did not know he's 6'7". He might win the award for the tallest guest. Not that we have a category contest every year where we have the guests line up and I see how tall they are. So far, the winner would have been Derek Meyer. Is that was his name? Derek Meyer? Derek Mears. He played the Swamp Thing.
Oh, yeah.
He was up there. He was like 6 something.
Yeah,
right?
He was pretty. Was that the guy from the?
Yeah, the Swamp Thing.
Swamp Thing. Yeah, that was.
Yeah, but he was one of those Jason guys too, and that stuff. Yeah. The Thing. What do you call that? The guy with the machete. Not machete. Not that guy. The other guy.
It was Jason or Freddie or somebody.
Speaking of Tony, I told him to go out and watch Peacemaker because it was out there, and he just texted me now. Says, wow, Peacemaker's One Strange Trip was gun high when he came up with that show. Yikes. Probably is what I'm writing. I thought it was funny. It's not for everyone. Let me just tell you, if you're like,
no, it's R-rated. It's definitely
yeah, it's definitely R-rated. Don't let the kiddies watch it.
But
I don't know what the kids watch nowadays. They all got their phones. They probably watch things that I wouldn't see when I was 30. They probably watch it when they're 8 now. Good parenting out there in America.
The Peacemaker's not that different from what they were doing in the Doom Patrol, because Doom Patrol is very profane, very dark. It's very crazy, and I like the vibe of Doom Patrol a lot. I was telling you, I started watching season 3. I'm up, I guess, on episode 4.
Is there a rating on that show? Now that I'm thinking about it, because I don't care.
Mature, definitely mature.
It says mature. Okay.
Yeah.
Not Victor Mature. That was an actor. No. But mature, like, hey, you kids shouldn't watch. Well, here's an interesting thing. I just did a thing yesterday about Jaws, or today. I don't know when you're watching this, but remember Jaws, the movie?
Yes.
You remember? It came out in 1975. It was PG. And I was telling Ed from Australia, and he was shocked. He's like, that was PG in America? I'm like, yeah, why? He's like, oh, no, that was like, whatever their version is in Australia of like rated R or something, mature audience. Right. I go, really? He's like, yeah, that was pretty violent imagery. I'm like, well, America's messed up. What am I going to tell you?
From one penal colony to another.
Exactly. Hey, man, we're funded on religious fanatics. Let's get it straight here. They were founded on people that were stealing stuff from the Queen, and she sent them to Australia.
But no, the thing that's funny is in Jaws, isn't that girl naked in the beginning?
Absolutely.
So I mean,
you can get her for conventions, by the way.
It was the 70s, and everybody was naked in the 70s.
I was in the movie theater naked watching that theater back then. So.
That I remember seeing that in the theater.
Everybody was naked back then. Charlton Heston had his ass in Planet of the Apes. All those guys were.
But in Jaws, I remember specifically in Jaws, sitting there with my buddy. We were like my brother, my 2 friends. We're all sitting there, and when the body comes out of the boat when they're diving, the
head,
right?
Yeah.
Underwater in this.
I mentioned that. We all screamed when that happened. Yeah.
Well, my friend grabbed my arm really, like he was just so shocked by it. He grabbed my arm and the popcorn went flying up in the air.
It's so funny. In the show that we recorded, I said that same scene to Ed. I said, I remember being in the theater. Maybe you were sitting in front of me. I go, when that head bopped up underneath the water, popcorn went flying in the theater when I saw it at the Forest Theater in Allentown, Connecticut. And he goes, really? I said, oh, yeah, people were screaming in that movie,
I saw it in Bayview, Wisconsin.
Well, that's not near me, so.
Which it was like the Allentown of West Haven. Bayview was to Milwaukee. It was like a little area, like a little sketchy.
Yeah. My wife and I played a contest with the kids tonight. Who was poorer when growing up? And the kids, they don't care anymore. My wife's like, well, I once had to do this. And I go, well, I once had to do that. And the kid, literally, Spencer's like, oh, my God, here they go. And Dad tries to top Mom by speaking louder than her. So that's how we know he won.
How many miles did you have to walk to school in the snow?
I thought I won because I said, listen, kids, how this has to do with John Buscema's Artist Edition, I don't know. But anyway, if you're still listening to this, God bless you. Real quick, I think of it now because it's cold and wintry out. I went to Catholic school, and you had to wear a uniform. And it was a white shirt, gray pants, navy blue tie with an emblem on it, and brown shoes. Okay, whatever reason, I only had one white shirt. And I would go to school, put that white shirt on, and the second I got home, you took that white shirt off because that was your school's clothes. You did not wear that anywhere else. That was like your uniform, like your work suit. Right. So my mom, God bless her, she would wash it, make sure I didn't have any ring around the collar, because that was like a big thing back in the day. Ring around the collar. That was a commercial.
Because you had a dirty neck.
You had a dirty neck. Sweated out there.
My favorite 1930s movie.
So anyway, is that true? Is that a movie?
No.
So anyway, my mom washed my saintly mom, 84 years old, God bless her. She washed my shirt. And because it's so cold out, like it is today, literally it's 6th grade. Look, I used to get my shirt on the line, and it would be frozen stiff, like you could break the sleeves. It was so cold. It was stiff as a board. And I'm not kidding you. You'd be able to, like, you could make an airplane out of my shirts because they were so frozen cold. And then you had to heat them up. So my ma, she washed my shirt, and we had a gas stove. So what my mom did is she opened the door in the oven to dry my shirt so I can wear it. No, stop. It gets better.
Make you put the shirt on.
No. Listen. She put the shirt. So you can call her now. She's probably sleeping. I hope she is. Go to bed, Ma. So anyway, she put the shirt, half of it, in the door of the oven to dry it, but she forgot about it and started working on lunches for my sisters and whatever. So whatever happened, the shirt, it caught on fire. Okay,
but you still had to wear it.
No, it gets good. So it had scorch marks on the back. Okay, where the fire started. Now listen, I got to go to school. We don't have another shirt. I can't miss any school days. So I had to wear my sister's navy sweater. If you know your stuff, the girls' buttons are on the other side because that's how they make up shirts. Girls' buttons on the left, boys are on the right, just to screw with you. There was no unisex clothing in the 70s, so don't write me any goddamn letters. I don't care. This is how it was. So I had to wear my sister Debbie's sweater over my shirt, but the problem is, sure, it hid the scorch marks, but there was the smell of burnt clothing. So I had to go to school that day, and all people around me kept going, "Do you smell something burning?" And I knew it was me. It was my burnt clothing. So I had to just sit there and suffer from 8:30 in the morning to 3 o'clock in the afternoon at St. Brendan's in New Haven,
classmates had to suffer.
Yes, they did. They had to get smoke inhalation all day long because of my burnt shirt. And I got home, and my mom went out to the, I think to the Bradleys or G Fox or Five and Dime Kresge's, I don't know. And she bought me a new white shirt to wear. So I told that story, and I thought that would have won as the poorest kid growing up. But no, my wife had to tell my kids that she had fried salami and bologna sandwiches growing up. I went, wow, you had salami? So
salami and bologna?
That's what I'm saying. You had both? That's like a delicacy. That's like a platter. So no, we never had fried bologna. We just had the fried. What?
We had head cheese.
Yeah, my dad would eat head cheese, and I literally thought it was made of heads, and I was like freaked out by that. I was like, "Oh my god, they chop people's brains out?" No,
it's head meat.
It is head meat.
It's like the meat around the cheeks and things like that.
The face, the jowls. Basically, you could make a good pound of head cheese off of my fat face. This is where the visual element of the show comes in. So if you are watching this tonight,
go look on YouTube.
Head cheese. Tonight's episode, head cheese.
A Quinn Martin production.
A Quinn Martin production. So then John Buscema went on to King Conan, and after that he did some movie adaptations, notably Raiders of the Lost Ark, inked by Klaus Janson, written by Walt Simonson, 1981. He did Tarzan. He did Tarzan. Yeah, he did Tarzan. Marvel had the Tarzan license for a while. He was great at drawing horses. Whenever you see a horse, there's two guys that could draw horses like nobody's business. John Buscema and John Severin. John Severin was great at those Westerns, man. Oof.
Well, but Gil Kane drew really good horses too.
He did.
His horses were very dynamic.
Yeah.
He did the foreshortening and all that. He did some really nice covers for the
I was going to say, I'm thinking when you said that, I could see the hooves in the cover, like rearing back, Yeah.
They're hard to draw. I think you really have to understand.
They are hard to draw.
Yeah. I mean, even looking at a picture, you really don't get the sense of how their hoof, the joint and all that, how it works. I mean, it's one thing to draw a person running. You can draw a person running poorly.
Yep.
Or looking awkward. But if you're drawing a horse, you really have to understand how all four, the legs work at the same time. Otherwise, you're drawing a pantomime horse.
And when we talk about poorly, we're not talking about their financial status in the animal kingdom,
or how many shirts they had,
or how many burned shirts were they wearing, scorched saddle. No, I'm trying to think of what else. Oh, by the way, I was so bored last week watching. I don't have time to watch Naomi or whatever, but I did watch Columbo. Don't know why. I downloaded the Peacock app on my TV. Again, back to smart TVs. Peacock, one of the worst names you can come up with for any service whatsoever. It just seems awkward telling people like
it has cock.
I was watching a Peacock last night, and they're like, "Really? I didn't know it had a urinary tract infection." Yes, that's right. I squeeze little peas to make them urinate. But anyway, I said, let me watch something. They had Columbo on there. They have all 10 seasons of Columbo with Peter Falk, and they had the first episode. So I said, I might as well start with the origin story. You know who directed that?
Steven Spielberg.
Steven Spielberg, that's right. As I'm watching it, it's Columbo, and Jack Cassidy is the bad guy. And spoiler alert for a 50-year-old show, he murdered his writing partner. He was a mystery writer. He murdered Martin Milner, who was on Adam 12, if you didn't know that. And Jack Cassidy, who's the grandfather of what people might know as, what's her name, Cassidy, from the Green Arrow show. Katie Cassidy? David Cassidy's daughter?
But he had famous sons.
He did. David Cassidy and Sean Cassidy.
Sean Cassidy with Shirley Jones.
That's correct. And
Katie Cassidy's like a granddaughter.
Yeah, that was David's daughter. So anyway, I'm watching it, and I go, my God, this has got, for a TV movie, which you figure is cheap, it's got some great visual elements to it, like the way it's framed and the direction. I'm like, this is amazing. And I had no idea it was Spielberg until the very end when the credits rolled and it said directed by Steven Spielberg. I had to go look it up. He was like 21 years old, which is amazing because it's so sophisticated looking. And but the problem with the show is growing up with all these CSIs and medical examiner shows and stuff like that, to watch that show now just drives you crazy because he's breaking every rule in the book. I mean, he shows up, he's from Los Angeles. The murder takes place out in the mountains miles from LA, and he just pulls up in his car and there's a murder, and he goes up to the cop. He says, "Hi, my name's Inspector Columbo. I know I'm from LA and I have no jurisdiction. Here's my badge. Do you mind if I take a look around in there?" And the other cop goes, "Oh, sure. One cop helping another cop. Go ahead, Lieutenant." Walks around a crime scene. Murder just took place. There's no yellow tape. There's no nothing. He's walking around smoking a cigar, contaminating the scene. He looks underneath the bed. He finds like a cork that was used in one of the murder weapons. He just puts it in his pocket, touches everything. No gloves, none of that nonsense.
He knows he's going to get him to, to confess.
Not only that, when Jack Cassidy shows up in his office at the end, Columbo's there reading a book, and he goes, "Hey, I finally figured out how you did it." "Well, tell me, Lieutenant, what did I do?" "Well, you wrote about this 5 years ago as one of the plots of your book. Everything you did was in this book, and all I had to do was read it, and I figured it out." And Jack Cassidy starts going, "Well, that's not going to stand up in court. That's all circumstantial." "Well, it would have been if I didn't find the cork. You got sloppy with the second murder. You hit the girl over the head." Now, none of this, let me speak to a lawyer. Let me, read me my rights. None of that. He goes, "Well, you got me, Lieutenant. I did it." And he just confessed to 2 murders right there in the spot, and then they just take him away, and Columbo walks off. I'm like, wow.
The good days.
Yeah, that's
when
the old days.
If you were caught red-handed, you would say, "Yeah, you got me."
Yeah.
That changed in the 80s.
I swear, man, I was just amazed. Like, wow, they just rolled over that quickly. You got me, Lieutenant.
Kid, the impression was if you got caught doing something bad, you would just admit to it because you couldn't deny it, right? But then at a certain point, it was like, oh no, you deny it. Even if someone's got you on, videotape killing somebody, it's like, oh, how do you know that was me? How do you know that?
I was just like, if it wasn't so entertaining to watch the performances, I would have been annoyed. But I was just like, holy crap, this was allowed back then? This was a popular TV show? No one said anything? No.
Well, I mean, it wasn't real life. Comics weren't real life either. I mean, TV.
Wait, what? They're not real? Oh God,
no.
I've wasted my life.
I mean, I think the closer you would get to real, like CSI is not real either. Just, spoiler alert.
What? I don't watch those shows. I've never watched an LA. Is it LA Law? No, Law and Order.
Yeah.
Never watched one in my life.
I used to watch that back in the what was it, 80s, early 90s?
I don't know. It's been on for about 40 years now, so I have no idea. It's the one with
well, it was like a bit like
Jane Mansfield's daughter. What's her name?
Like a Dragnet type of thing where it was very serious, but it had two parts. That was the whole thing. It was Law and then Orders. So the cop part happened first. Second half of the show was about the guy being.
Wait a minute. Wasn't Michael Moriarty on that show, or is that a different
first
show?
season? He was.
Oh, he was. Okay.
The
and Richard Belzer, the comedian.
He didn't join. He was on He was on the Homicide: Life on the Streets.
Oh, okay.
He actually did. They imported his character into one of the Law and Order shows.
Oh, really? And what's the one that had Jerry Orbach?
That was Law and Order.
Okay.
The main one was Law and Order. That's the one that Sam Waterston was on, and Jerry Orbach, and it had a whole slew of people that would be on for.
And Vincent D'Onofrio was on it too, right?
He was on one of the spin-off ones.
Oh, all right. See, again, I don't know.
Yeah, there's like a special victim thing. Then they had criminal investigation one. Back when they had like 3 or 4 of them running at once.
Oh, but it's still on though, right? Yeah.
They just relaunched, or they're going to relaunch the original show. Apparently, they're bringing it back because, of course,
the guy that was in Superman: Man of Steel was on that, right? The guy that was the colonel. He was in the Man of Steel. Wasn't he on that show? He was the guy that killed himself at the end when the Kryptonian lady blew herself up above Metropolis. He said, "Today's a good day to die." He was on that show, Happy.
Oh, that was
She's named Joe Melillo or something.
Yeah, right. He was on the Law and Order.
But he's back on those shows now. I saw an ad. I'm like, oh, that's the guy. Yeah,
unit or whatever. Right.
Yeah. Again, I don't know.
So which artist is your favorite?
Oh yeah, back to that. Well,
I was thinking. I keep seeing artwork posted of Gil Kane. Some on Twitter, people post covers from 20, 30 years ago or whatever, and you see a lot of Gil Kane because Gil did some Marvel covers.
He did tons of covers. That's the reason why I bought a lot of real crappy books, because of the cover. I'd go, but I mean, look at that, and you'd open it up.
There was no one like him. I mean, he did so many great Marvel covers through the 70s.
He did.
Really strong composition. They had a lot of punch to them.
Yep.
No pun intended, but he was great. And, inked by everybody,
No, I got Gil Kane. What book did he do in the? No, well, of course, the Green Lantern. But I'm saying in the 70s,
he did the Sword of the Atom.
Yeah, no, I have that, Jan Strands, all that stuff. But I'm saying, was he on a regular series at all?
Superman in Action Comics in the early 80s.
Yep, I got those. That's when they reintroduced Brainiac.
Marv Wolfman writing those.
Yeah. I can't think of him on a regular series in the 70s.
He would come up with like things to do. Basically, he would create like like the Sword of the Atom. They did a couple of different miniseries of.
Yep, they did. Yep.
And I mean, he bounced around because he was also doing animation stuff.
Oh, was he really?
Yeah. In the later, like from about 87, I guess 86, 87. I think he and his wife moved to California, and he started working for Richard Beard. He did stuff on that Superman cartoon that
one year one,
the one in 87.
Yeah, that's a really good one, actually. Yeah,
it had Cat Grant in it. It had Metallo, all those.
Yeah,
he was the character designer on those.
You don't see that one often, actually. That was one, and I think
it came out on DVD. I bought the DVD set. Yeah. A couple of years ago, the DVD came out.
Yeah, it only lasted one season, but I liked it. It was more like the John Byrne Man of Steel Superman.
Well, it was launching at the same time as that.
Oh, that might explain
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
yeah. I assume that's why Marv was late on his plots. It's because he was making animation money.
Oh no, I like that one a lot. There's a lot of Superman animated series, way too many.
Well, when they did the one in the '90s, they did a good job with it. That still
Oh,
seems to
with
be.
Tim Daly doing the voice.
Yeah, I mean, they had a bunch of great stuff. They had the Dark Side
Mike
storyline.
Farrell was the dad,
Yeah,
Clark
Turpin,
Kent's voice. Yeah,
Inspector Turpin. They did a bunch of good ones. That
they
one
did.
actually was. Speaking of, did you ever watch or did you get around to watching Superman and Lois
Yeah, I
season?
did. Yep,
Um,
I liked it
because
a lot.
yeah, it's good, and it was definitely Doomsday at the end, right?
The big baddie under the ground making the earthquake.
It was boom, boom, boom.
Boom,
It was
boom. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
He
Yeah.
was
Well,
they,
sure. Why not rip that off? They haven't done that in a while. No. The only thing that still bugs me is God, can't he
it'd be
shave?
nice. Bugs me. It would be nice if we made some money off of it and we got our names on it.
I would just like it if Superman shaved. That's all. He's got like a
Yeah, but he
thicker.
can't. He's got to use that piece of his ship. Remember?
Yeah, I
Use
know.
his
Reflected off of it. I guess he's
like
got
that.
no time. Forget
I
just
mean, it's
taking the glasses
hard.
on and off. All you got to do is like, Jesus, there's only one guy I know with a 5 o'clock shadow like that's Clark Kent. Hey, Superman. You're Clark Kent. No, I like it. I like the fact that they incorporated Henry Irons, Steel.
Yeah,
Yeah,
John
he's
Henry.
on there now from the
Yeah.
multiverse or other dimension that he came in with his daughter. There's a lot of that stuff. I forgot that Lois's dad stepped down, and they got this other guy Anderson as the head of the DOD, the Department of
Right.
Defense, and he's
Yeah, he's
building his own Superman. Is that going to tie into the Superboy thing,
maybe
like
it's
Cadmus?
got to be a Cadmus kind of thing, don't
Yeah,
you think?
yeah, that's what I figured when I saw they were
Plus,
wearing the
they
same
also,
shirt.
I mean, the Eradicator guy is he just flew off at the end. He flew into the sun at the end of last season.
Oh, so he might come back as half cyborg or something.
Well, no, he would be the Eradicator. He was totally taken over by the artifact at
The
the end.
Morgan Edge guy.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
totally taken over by that artifact.
All right.
So
So then who? Okay. So if they got
he-
Superboy, they've already got They already got Steel. They need a cyborg Superman.
Well, but if they I mean, the thing is, I was thinking about this after you mentioned that, is that they do have all the elements, but all those elements came after Superman died in the comics.
Right.
And it was all meant to, to kind of direct you to think, oh, one of these is really Superman.
Obviously, you know what they'll probably do, because they're not going to get. Well, no, they're not going to get the lead off the show because he needs to get paid. So they'll probably kill him in a big mid-season cliffhanger, or maybe whatever, and then they could bring the actor back as the clone of Superman or whatever, or Cyborg, and then you'll find out that it's a robot, and then the real Kal-El is dead somewhere. Yeah, they'll probably do it, and it'll be the big fall. When did Death of Superman come out? In the fall, didn't it? 30 years ago?
It did.
Yeah, so maybe it's going to be like the fall premiere. Like they'll do it now. They'll kill him at the end in the springtime. You've got to wait over the summer what happens, and then they'll relaunch it in the fall. Superman and Lois. You watch. I bet they'll do that and tie into DC.
I mean, in the comics, we did the teaser with 4 books. Before Doomsday actually shows up.
Yeah,
you just get the fist pounding his way out from underground. So, it's cool that they're.
Well, you know what? You got the element, the 2 kids in there too. They could do a whole storyline about what it's like to be grown up without their dad, and Lois being a widow. Yeah, there's a good story element if they go that way. We're just speculating, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did it.
It's all set. The setup is there, and they did it. They'll probably do something on their own version of it, anyways.
Legends of Tomorrow came back. That's what I didn't watch yet.
I was going to say they did Doomsday way back in Smallville.
They did, but it wasn't.
Well, they had Davis Bloom was the guy, and he turned into Doomsday, which was a little different.
Yeah, it was Sam Witwitter played him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was just like a normal sized dude. It wasn't really. He was a paramedic.
They did a good job with the rubber mask.
Yeah, no, that was good. But
like the comic one, but it was everybody's going to do their own version of it.
Yeah,
it's
but
not
it
going
was
to
weird. It was almost like he was becoming Doomsday, almost like at night, like a werewolf type of thing, if I remember. Yeah, it was weird. I don't know.
Have you watched Smallville in years? Have you ever rewatched?
It was on in the mornings for some reason, like at 7 when the kids would go off to college or high school.
Yeah.
I remember getting up to take them to school, but it was on like at 7 in the morning on like TNT or TBS a couple times. I would catch a couple episodes, and the first year is rough. The first year or two when they were doing the Meteor Freak of the Week, and then it got good.
There's a lot of funny names that pop up, guest stars. They go, oh look, it's Amy Adams.
She was the chubby girl that was on there and was losing weight from the meteor rock.
Right.
Yeah,
had to eat because she had the voracious appetite.
Yep.
But
was Gilbert Gottfried on that? No, he was on Lois and Clark.
Yeah,
I mentioned him because he contacted me this week.
Who?
Gilbert Gottfried.
Oh yeah,
he wants to come to the show. I said I haven't gotten back to him.
Did you tell him you could come if he dressed as Mxyzptlk?
That's what I was thinking. He was Mr. Mxyzptlk in Lois and Clark, but then he was the voice of Batman.
He was on the cartoon. I thought he was
on the cartoon.
Didn't he do Mxyzptlk on the cartoon, the Superman cartoon?
I thought he did it on Lois and Clark. I know he played it somewhere, but I couldn't remember where because it wasn't on Superboy because that was that dude that was in Bonnie and Clyde. That guy.
1980s, the 1980s.
Yeah, but what was the guy that was in Bonnie and Clyde? He was on Michael J. Pollard. Yeah. He just passed away, but I remember. And he had
the derby hat and everything.
Yeah, he did. But no, I could have swear Gilbert Gottfried was on Lois and Clark as Mxyzptlk, wasn't he?
I feel like it was the cartoon. I just remember his voice.
The voice. That's exactly what. As soon as you hear the voice, you go, "Ugh, that voice." That voice. I can't take the voice.
Have you been reading comics?
My new ones?
Yes.
What did I just read? I picked up a bunch of books this week. Dark, or is it Rain? Is it Dark Rain or just Rain? Something from Marvel. I'm reading that with the Daredevil. And with some other tie-in I picked up this week. Oh, Bloodstone? By the time, listen to this. I walked into the store.
It was sold out when I got there.
Well, I'll tell you, I walked in at 11:45. I was late. They opened at 11. They had 3 copies left on the shelf. So I picked up one. A woman comes in with a list. She needed to buy 2 copies of it because they wanted 2 different covers. They said, oh, we have to hold one for another customer. So all they had was one left on the shelf. So she picked up that copy. So I knew right then and there, I'm like, I hope Jerry doesn't want this because it's gone already by 12 o'clock. And no, I haven't read it yet, though. I just picked it up. And
is it the character Bloodstone?
It's a woman now. It's based off the 70s series.
Yeah, because the 70s was a guy in a like a
safari outfit, like Charlton Heston. Yeah. And what else did I pick up?
Hot? I don't understand why that was hot. Was it tied into the?
It was tied into the death of Doctor Strange, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then I picked up Batman, one of the Batman books. I don't even know which one it is now. There's like 10 a week. It had Ace the Bat Hound on the cover, and it was issue 11.
Did you see the One Star Squadron?
Yes, I did see that.
The first issue, they were sadly using Jose Delgado Gangbuster.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I felt bad.
Did you get a credit in there?
No, they don't ever. But
no, I did
it's
not.
always it just feels awkward when you see your characters that you created or co-created and you have no say in their lives.
Oh no, that was Marvel. No, there was something that came out about this.
The thing is fun. The One Star Squadron is fun. It's the idea that the Red Tornado is running the B villains or the B and C heroes, and like they're making money by being rented out as security.
Oh, really?
For like that type of thing. So
that's like clever. Yeah, that's a clever idea. Yeah.
But unfortunately, you do feel that sadness for the B and C character level characters.
No, No, but hell, that's it's kind of like a Suicide Squad, but they're not. They're heroes, I guess.
Yeah, it's more like our,
Is it
you
supposed to be a funny book, like a humorous title, like Justice League
well,
was?
it's definitely played with a little bit tongue in cheek, but
The Red
yeah,
Tornado is kind of like a cold character.
yeah. I've been liking the Human Target. It's been good. The art's really great
I
on
didn't
that.
get that. The Tom King book?
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I
The
haven't
art
picked
is
that up.
really pretty phenomenal.
No. You know what Jay was putting into the back issue bins? Tons of that red, white, and blue Superman thing that came out.
When
Remember
I didn't,
that? Yeah, it was like a year ago. It was like a special run, like a limited series. They had like really cool covers. Or was it red and blue Superman or something?
okay, I didn't
I don't
follow
know,
that.
but they're in the back issue bin. He's got a ton of them there, so you can get it for like, half price or whatever. But I did buy a bunch of new books. I can't remember what
You
they
know what?
were.
I was surprised that I don't know. I like the Catwoman, the oversized Catwoman book was really good.
I didn't pick
Cliff
that up.
King. The other one that Swamp Thing one was really good too.
Oh, is that Mike
Jeff
Perkins?
Lemire. It's the Jeff Lemire and Doug. What's his name?
Doug
No,
Mankey. Doug
yeah,
Mankey.
yeah, it was nicely done. I mean, it's funny. Those books are supposedly they're Black Label or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They're square bound, kind of big square
Scorched. I
book.
picked up that Scorched.
And what was Scorched?
That was the new Todd McFarlane book.
Oh yeah, they didn't have that. I was
They
there.
didn't have that? Really?
I didn't see
I'm
it.
looking now what came in. I'm trying to figure out what everything. Robin and Batman came in. I didn't pick that up. Daredevil, Woman of Fair, I picked that up. That's the Elektra one.
Yeah.
Bloodstone. I didn't get King Conan. I didn't get Marvel's Wastelanders, Black Widow. I picked that up. They only had one on the shelf.
Uh,
Son of a bitch. I'm mad right now.
what else?
No,
came
I
out?
picked this up. The Thing.
Yeah.
Number 3. I picked it up. But Fantastic Four, I hope I got that in my stack upstairs. I
Yeah.
gotta double check. I hope it got it because I told
got
you.
it.
Okay,
Yeah.
because there's been sometimes I've gone in there and they don't put it in. Yeah, Spider-Man I picked up, but I don't know if I got the Thing.
There were multiple covers. They put two versions of it in my file, and I was like, I don't buy the variants.
Yeah.
I just want to read the story.
No, so do I, but I swear, yeah, maybe that's what it is. They have like 15 different covers here, and I'm like, wait, I don't think I have that cover. That's the problem. I've done that before. I've picked up a book and gone home and realized I already had it because they have a different cover. I'm like, wait, what's going on here? So,
well, I just listened to Walter Mosley.
Oh, did you?
Easy Rawlings, his character.
Yeah, I remember that from Devil with the Blue Dress. I used to read those. Yeah.
I just listened to one on an Audible from, I guess it was from maybe mid 90s or something.
Yeah. That's when he was popular because every one of his books had a color in the title.
Yeah. Well, he's good. He's good. I mean, he was writing kind of his version of a Philip Marlowe kind of story,
Actually, you've mentioned that I'm listening to Audible. I got Springsteen, another Bruce Springsteen biography, which I'm listening to. And then I'm listening to Marvel's Wastelanders. It's a 10-part audio.
Oh, yeah.
With all the what's the guy's name? Stephen Lang, the actor.
Yeah.
He does Hawkeye. It takes place like in the future, like an alternate future where basically the United States is broken up. Baron Zemo runs part of it. Dr. Doom owns one part of it. The Hulk owns another one, like that Maestro character. So like there's been all the heroes are dead and all the villains took over the Earth, and Hawkeye was traveling with the Circus of Crime. You remember the guy, the ringmaster?
Yeah.
So he was trying to kill Baron Zemo because Baron Zemo wiped out all the Avengers, and they think Hawkeye's blind because he wears a blindfold, but it's a trick. He really could see, and it's well done. And remember Joe Morton, the actor?
Yeah.
Joe Morton. They got good names. Joe Morton plays the ringmaster, and
he's Cyborg's dad in Justice League.
There you go. I remember him from being in Blues Brothers 2000, which no one talks about, and they shouldn't because it's a horrible movie. But And he was the brother from another planet. If you really want to
Yeah.
go back, John
Yeah,
Sayles, really, that's a far reach. But yeah, he's on it, and like I said, Stephen Lang, and they've got Kate Bishop, and she's got a daughter. And now, listen to
Right.
this. Listen to this. This week they just did a new one. It's coming out, 10-part audio drama that's free on a podcast thing. Download it on Apple. Susan Sarandon as the Black Widow in an alternate future called Marvel's Wastelanders Black Widow, and she plays the Black Widow.
Interesting.
Isn't it? Because you know what? I could actually picture, and it's supposed to be an older Black Widow, like in her 60s.
But who's writing these things?
This one was written by the guy that wrote one of the Daredevil Netflix series.
Oh, really?
Okay. Not Christos Gage, but another guy, Steve something. I can't think of it right now. But he's the author of it. So it's pretty good. But it's hard to listen to these stories that take place with these alternate futures, because you're like, wait, is that really what happens? They all get killed by Baron Zemo? And oh, no, this is just one version of it. Oh, okay.
I kind of like comics with art, though. You know
well,
what I mean?
Yeah, you got to just picture it in your head, you know?
If I'm going to listen to an audio book, I'd rather listen to a book.
Right.
I mean, I think it's cool that they're doing it. It just seems like everybody's jumping into the kind of podcast.
Well, you know who directs this one? Tim Busfield. Remember Tim Busfield from like 30 something? Yeah. He did the one. They did one called Star-Lord, where he plays an old Star-Lord, which is actually funny because it's this Star-Lord when he's in his 60s and he's got Rocket Raccoon. Everybody else is dead and they're still traveling around together. And so now he directs these audio dramas. I don't know how he got into that, but he's the one behind the scenes directing Susan Sarandon.
Well, he was directing TV stuff.
And now he's doing radio shows.
So it's a downward spiral is what you're saying.
Hey, Tim Busfield's still working, buddy. That's all I know. He's one of the Revenge of the Nerds. He's got his revenge. Look at it. Now he's doing audio dramas, you know.
Getting back to comics.
Yeah. Real quick. See this USB plug?
Yes.
Now, I have this new chair I got for Christmas that I'm sitting in here now. It's a Captain America chair.
Okay.
Now, it had a USB plug part of the chair. I didn't know why, you know? So I plugged it in the other night to see what would happen, which one would do.
Your chair gave your computer a virus.
No. And then there's a button here.
Hail Hydra.
And I press this button, and the chair's got like a vibrating thing in the back.
Oh, no.
Yeah. But it didn't say anything about that on the box or the order details. I had to go look it up, so I have no idea. You know, so kids, when you find a mysterious USB,
that's
always
pretty
plug
nerdy,
it in.
dude. That's
Isn't
pretty
that
nerdy.
Something? What, that I have a vibrating chair?
That you have a Captain America chair?
Well, there's that, but the fact that it vibrates. Anyway, I just had to throw that in. I just discovered this last night, and I was amazed.
So, that is cool, but I was going to say, at the Baltimore Con.
Yes, we didn't have vibrating chairs.
Aftershock Comics was there, right? And Joe Pruitt, he brought a stack of Aftershock one-shot graphic novels and gave me there must have been 7 of them in the stack.
Yeah.
Which I finally got around to reading. And they're very interesting, and they're the same format as that Catwoman and the oversized DC
Black Label books.
Yeah, I was intrigued by the idea that they've done so many of them, and they're all priced at like $4.95.
Oh, they really? Oh, that's not bad. Yeah, that's a comic.
Yeah, but I don't think I've seen them at all in our store. But they're all standalone stories, and they're like crime stories or horror stories or whatever. They're really good. There's one. There was one written by that Aaron Douglas guy from Battlestar Galactica that I don't know if you had met him. He was at the 2019 Baltimore show, and it makes sense now that he was hanging with the Aftershock guy. Yeah. So he wrote one.
Was he an actor or was he a writer?
Yeah, he was in Battlestar Galactica. He was like the big beefy guy.
Oh, that guy, the mechanic guy, Jolly or whatever. Yeah. And his girlfriend turned out to be a cyborg.
Yeah. So
or whatever, Cylon. Yeah.
So he wrote one of them, and there's a couple others, like Peter Milligan wrote one, and
all right.
I guess again, I was impressed because they're pretty nice.
Mm.
You know, I don't know if anybody likes standalones. Everybody seems to like series, but
yeah,
for like a one-shot graphic novel, they're pretty economical. I mean, you know, that's a pretty good price point.
I'll tell you what, your other buddy there at Ahoy, somebody posted tonight. I can't think of who it is. Friend of ours here. He did a cover for what's the one with the guy that looks like a butter? He's got a green superhero suit. The Wrong Earth.
For the Wrong Earth, it's Dragonfly Man.
Dragonfly Man. Yes, that's. I just saw a cover tonight. I guess they're coming back with that.
Yeah, and, I did. You saw the one I did?
No, I didn't see the one you did. I saw a different one. I was like, oh, why do I? Why?
89 one. I did a takeoff.
Oh no! You showed me that you were working on it, and you said, "Oh look, I'm doing a version of the Batman '89 cover with this," but somebody else is doing one too. So I guess is that an ongoing series, or is that going to be a one shot now? So
I think they're doing several different one shots,
and
it's all tying their little Wrong Earth universe together somehow.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that's
the villain in the one I did the cover, the alternate cover for, is kind of like Prince, which is kind of funny since Prince did the music for
the Batman soundtrack.
Yeah. But he's the bad guy. And then they basically, I said, hey, if you want me to do this, it seems like you're looking for stunt casting. I should just do a kind of a takeoff on the Batman, movie cover. So that's what I
know that well. You did that when we did the the Kevin Smith poster when he was at TERRIFICON. You know what I picked up? I just realized that I picked up this Fantastic Four issue 176 that was in the back issue bin, and I'm looking at the cover. It's a Rich Buckler cover. But I open it up inside. You know who it's by?
John Buscema.
No, George Perez.
Oh, okay. I thought we were going to loop back around to John
Buscema. We will. No, we're coming back to it. No, but I just realized Perez did a great run on the Fantastic Four with Roy, actually, in the 170s and stuff. So when the Thing was wearing an exosuit because he had lost his power.
He was more suited to Fantastic Four because he had the good action stuff.
Yeah, I also picked up this one too when I was there the other day. Speaking of Hawkeye and Mockingbird #1.
Oh.
Solo adventure, because that's a big deal again, because she was on, spoiler alert, she was on the Hawkeye TV show, kind of. They said that his new wife is whatever her name is, Bobby. Well, no, a different name. Oh, this sucks. Go on, I got tape stuck to a comic book cover. You son of a bitch.
Huh? There goes Spider-Man #1.
Well, there goes it being in 9.8 condition, kiddies. As I'm slowly peeling it off.
So you're gonna have to paint it with nail polish to restore it.
No, that's one of the dangers of. See this? That's one of the dangers of comic book bags.
Take the tape off because I don't want that to happen.
Oh, do you take the tape off?
Anybody who's had that happen, I always take the tape tabs and put them stick to the back of the book of the bag, because
one of the worst ones ever. I had an old book from the 40s. You know how the printing was like, ink was almost like clay. Yeah. Oh my God! It stuck to it, and it took a chunk of the coverings.
Somebody protected that book for 60 years until you got it, and then you ruined it.
I screwed it up with some tape. Yeah. It just sucks. What are you gonna do?
What did you ruin?
Now you can definitely see it.
What did you ruin?
It's the Devil's Reign #2.
Oh.
Variant cover with Captain America.
Who did the variant?
I'm trying to see the name of this thing. You can't tell anymore. It's like they don't tell you on the inside. It's just. I'm gonna say it's not Bagley. It's it's Ron. It's got to be Ron Lim.
Okay.
It's got to look to it, but it would be nice if they actually put his name on the damn thing. But whatever. Variant covers done by John Romita Jr., Klaus Janson, Peter Steigerwald, Mark Bagley. Oh, this is probably Bagley. Yeah, that's Bagley.
I just thought that the Captain America head looked like Bagley.
It is Bagley. That's a Bagley face. Yeah. Oh well, it's not in mint condition anymore. So
you've ruined it on purpose.
I've ruined it. So yeah, that's it. And I also picked that up. See, look, Invaders #1. You know who that is?
Did you not have that?
I don't think that's a Schoenberg.
Yeah.
He did that. It's got to be one of the last things he did. Right?
Alex Schomburg, right?
Alex Schomburg, yeah.
Yep.
So yes, I picked those up. You know what's so sad? This is my books from like 2-3 weeks ago. I didn't read them yet. They were sitting down here. I got them everywhere around this house.
You have to put them in the bathroom. Captive audience.
I swear. I swear. So what else were you reading? Wait, you never got this, did you? They were sold out of this, right? Timeless.
Oh, I did read that. Yeah.
I got that one. Yeah, all right. I got that.
But you didn't read it yet.
No, because I forgot I had these books. I just looked over. I'm like, oh, they're sitting here. Death of Doctor Strange. That's what's sad about this. People pick on me for buying books and I don't read them.
Well, I've been keeping up with mine week by week since the COVID shutdown started. I started reading about all the stacks of books.
Well, you talked about, you know what's bad? Spider-Man's coming out every week now.
Yeah, I don't read it.
No, but it's too money. I got Amazing Spider-Man here. I go 83. I go, wait a second. I got 85 upstairs.
I have not read Spider-Man since John Romita was drawing it.
Oh, well, then it's been a long time. That was when Straczynski was writing it.
Yeah, I just I lost interest when they put too many titles out at the same time. Like when they double dipped it, I was not just it basically tries your patience. Like I couldn't keep up with it.
No, I hear you.
Avengers in years either, and I really like the Avengers, but I haven't bought it because it felt like they killed that by having 4 Avengers books at one point when Bendis was doing it.
Well, this week the Savage Avengers finally ended. That's the one that had Conan the Barbarian in it, which was a stunt cast thing. That was kind of fun at first, but I'm like, how long are you going to go with this thing, you know?
Well, have you been reading Berserker, the Keanu Reeves?
Yeah, Ron Garney. I think I have to, or Ron's going to beat the shit out of me. So, yeah.
That's been interesting. I mean, I think I've been reading a lot of stuff from, I think the less DC stuff, a lot of Marvel still, but a lot of other publisher stuff.
I haven't really got a lot of DC books, to be honest with you. I picked up that one Batman book the other day, and that's been it for a while.
I've been reading the Joker.
I didn't get that.
The story's been good.
See, I'm confused. There's no continuity anymore, is there?
Yeah, no, they don't. You can't expect the only continuity within that comic.
No, that's what I figured. Yeah. Well, like the Detective and Action and Superman, I'm assuming they have like some type of ongoing storyline now, or are they all?
Superman is on Warworld.
Oh.
That Philip Kennedy Johnson's writing that, and the story's interesting, but it sadly does feel like they're going to kill Superman again.
I told you that I think that's what they're setting up to do.
Yeah. I mean, it's fine, except I guess it doesn't seem like 30 years to me, but it feels like they've been leaning on that so heavily over the last 30 years.
Yeah, but it's kind of like a one-trick pony, though. I mean, you're going to do it again, and everyone's going to be like, all right, you're going to bring it back in a couple months.
I mean, the downside is we did I think a lot of really good Superman stories in the time I was on the book, and they only ever reprint like the death of Superman, you know?
I think they just reprinted it again, if I'm not mistaken. Or is that a newer one? It's an all black cover. The hard copy, the big omnibus. Is that a new one?
I don't know. They did one I thought they did one I guess it was a couple of years ago.
No. I saw one just around Christmas time in October. So I was like, is this another printing? Yeah, well, it was huge. It was like a phone book, like 2 phone books.
The last one they did was massive. It was like 1,700 pages in it.
No, I remember that, but that was with the Jurgens wraparound, wasn't it? I got that somewhere. It was like $150, right?
Yeah.
Something crazy.
It did not have a new cover on it. That one didn't. That they did the last one they did. They reprinted it in maybe 10 years ago with the cover that Dan and I did, where the Doomsday Shadow is falling across like a prone Superman, which I thought was really. And then they did one where it was like a more of a triptych kind of with Superman and the Return of Superman guys. And
wow.
But
I suppose there's probably collectors out there that just collect the different versions of the Death of Superman, and they'd fill a room with that thing.
Well, they're building a house out of them.
You probably could, yeah.
Heavy and they're big.
No, I bet you $10 that's going to happen again this year. We'll see. We'll see. But no, I don't know. So that John Buscema.
What are you doing to celebrate the Death of Superman?
Yeah, right. I'm going to break out all those black copies. I might rip them open, take the armband out, wear it again. It had a newspaper headline in it from the Daily Planet. It had a black armband, and was there a trading card in there too?
That was. It might have had the. I can't remember. I know there was an armband. There was a pin. No, it was a pin.
Oh, it was a pin.
Rest in peace.
Maybe. And, I don't think we've got some on the wall over at Cave. We should grab one and rip it open, see what's inside.
Well, I have the stuff on my. I tagged it up on the wall here.
Oh, I don't remember the pin.
There was a little rest in peace pin.
R.I.P. I don't think I ever saw that. No.
Little black pin, and then it had the obituary was a single sheet with Lois. Picture of Lois Lane and Clark Kent. The other book had the Return of Adventures 500 had a trading card with the. I think it had the different characters. The super.
I remember the trading card one. So
yeah.
I don't know. 30 years. That scares me.
Well, when you start seeing that, thinking about, I was thinking what is it? We're in January. So in March of 1987, I moved to Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
That's 35 years.
Yep.
So that's kind of scary too.
They've got these new apps I see. Like if they cut you in half, you just scan you and it tells you by counting the rings how old you are. I saw it. And I'm like, I don't know what in God's name somebody would need that app for, but sure, you can do it now.
Oh, I thought you were joking.
They showed somebody like walking in the woods and they come across like a tree stump and they held their camera up to it and it read it and it said this was 30-something years. I go, well, it's not anymore. It's dead. What's the point of that? Well, this tree was 50 years old. No, it's not 50 years anything anymore. No. Like yesterday was Clarence Clemens' 80th birthday. Well, not really. He's dead. Right. So anyway, kind of morbid, kind of getting down on that. But I was listening to this like today would have been the big man's 80th birthday. I go, yep.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much you can do once you're dead.
I know. I was like, well, I bet there's people. Today would have been George Washington's 382nd birthday. Well, yeah, I guess it would. I don't think he would have lived that long, but sure, I guess we could say that.
I mean, like at least like someone like Richard Nixon, you got to figure he's probably still roasting in hell somewhere. So keeping
it warm. No, I don't know, Jer. How do you want to? I guess we got to wrap this up because I know these kiddies have been listening to us for an hour and 40-something minutes. It's not the same without the back chatter of people in the restaurant and the bar and beer bottles clanging. Should have got some empty bottles. I do have a bottle of liquor down here.
Did you ever drink what was that one special bottle that you had from?
No, that's what I have, the Blade Runner beer. Oh no, the Blade Runner. It's somewhere down here unless my wife took it. But
yeah, your kid probably filled it with water. Drank it and refilled it with water.
Somewhere under my desk, I had the Blade Runner 2090. What movie did we see? Blade Runner 2049? It came out with Johnny Walker. They came out with a special bottle, and I bought it, and it's been sitting down here. So I'm not a hard drinker.
So you don't drink beer at home either?
No.
So just when you're out, that's the only time?
You're my bad influence. You're my day drinking buddy. I go out. I go, well, I'm going out for pizza with Ordway, and Spencer goes, day drinking again, Dad? I go,
yeah, but you slam them down pretty fast.
I call it recording a podcast.
Like a man with a thirst. Maybe you should take the edge off and have a beer once in a while at home.
Well, look at me. I don't know moderation very well. One Twinkie, next thing you know, I eat the whole box. One beer, next thing you know, I got a needle in my arm. I'm not very good when it comes to tolerance. Just downhill all thing. No, that's a terrible thing. And we are not recommending people become addicted to any substance out there. If you're listening to this, go get help. And if you are listening to this in nearly 2 hours, for God's sakes, go get help.
Comic fans are definitely, prone to obsessing over things. So
I don't know if somebody will watch the visual of this thing, because you're like falling off the picture. You're like, and if this was an IMAX thing, you're like in the lower corner, like right down there. You're like maybe.
But you're doing this the whole time.
I'm looking down. I'm looking down at all the stuff around here. I'm looking at comics.
I know, but occasionally your head goes off to the corner like this.
Oh, does it? Oh, all right. I'm like, oh, what the hell's this?
Why
is it got? It's got like a blue screen thing happening.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. What is going on with that?
I don't know. It's like
it's an invisible shark. That's crazy.
I don't know why it's doing blue screen. Yeah.
What color is it that's dropping out? Is it blue?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Well, that's why it's called a blue screen. But I got something else over here. Hold on. All kind of shit here. Watch me unplug the TV. Look, there's Jabba the Hutt. Oh, look. Jabba the Hutt is invisible. Ooh.
Hanging out with my friend Henry Cavill.
Oh, there's Jabba. That's a green screen thing. I have no idea what's happening now. Boy, oh boy, if you're listening to this, you are missing out.
Do you have a photo background?
Jerry's got a naked
background on, or is that your
No, I had a backdrop for the other show I did, that YouTube. Yeah. Mitch and Ed's Excellent Adventure. You should go watch it right
maybe
now.
It's still set for that.
It's probably still set for it. But Jerry just held up a totally nude Henry Cavill doll.
He's not totally nude. He's wearing shorts.
I was going to show you this little thing.
He's got trunks on.
Oh, see? Amazing Heroes. Look at that guy.
Your terrific?
No, I want to get this and have this guy make Captain Terrificon action figures, because look, he's got it almost there. All I got to do is flip that sunburst to yellow and make the rest of it red.
Got quite a big package.
Well, I guess you're right. Jerry's talking about the action figure if you're listening to this at home right now. Well, you look at the drawing and it's not that bad, but then you go look at the figure and suddenly he's got a cod piece that's the size of a mackerel. That ain't a cod.
That's for today's comics, where people are always getting kicked in the crotch.
Yeah. Well, this guy's gone and made all these what do you call it? Copyright free heroes or something? Is that what it is? Yeah, he's got a bunch down there. Well, he's got things like the Blue Flame, the Claw, Lash Lightning, Atom Man, Vulcan.
Well, the one you're holding is Atom Man. That was the Jerry Robinson creation.
Well, then there's the Black Fury.
Yeah.
And then the Black Cobra.
So they were all like 40s characters.
Well, here's the best one. This could have been Captain Terrificon. That's Captain Tootsie.
Oh, yeah.
You see that? It's a guy. It's not Dustin Hoffman.
It was from Ad. Yeah, no, it was ads, the Tootsie Roll ads, I think.
Oh, that was the guy?
Really? I think it was in the old Fawcett comics, I think.
Well, you know what? I'm just going to say, no offense to, was it Herb Trimpe that came up with the costume? That looks like Doc Samson's costume.
Right. Well, that was probably Roy doing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Roy was always,
Instead of all it is it's the same color scheme. Except
but look at Atom Man. Look at the front of a character you have. They ripped the character off for Firestorm. Atom Man, the guy that's on the front of your toy.
I'm looking right at it right here. Yeah, there's the cover.
Basically, Firestorm.
February 1946.
Yeah.
Well, not Firestorm. You mean Firebrand?
The original Firestorm. No, the original Firestorm, the one that Conway and Al Milgrom did.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, they did. They just adapted the. He's got the same coloring.
Yeah, he does. Oh, you're right. If you get rid of the cape, yeah, you know what? You're right. I could see that now. And put fire in his hair. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing. His real name is Barry Dale. He's 6'2", 225 pounds. Swipe right if you want to date him. Swipe left for no. while working at a nuclear scientist, as a nuclear scientist, Atomic Institute, whatever, Barry Dale absorbs the power of the atom. Wait a minute. I've heard that before. Through unconscious exposure to nuclear materials and gains superpowers as a result. He uses this newfound ability, such as super strength flight, speed, invulnerability, atomic vision, and the ability to heat up his body temperature to the point where he can weld metal to fight crime. What the hell's welding metal fighting crime have to do anything?
Well, if you want to build a cage around the bad guys, you could weld, individual pieces.
I suppose so. Transported to a strange world by a mysterious villain from beyond the stars, Earth's mightiest amazing heroes fight their fiercest enemies in a hidden battle to save the universe from annihilation. I guess this was a comic book, Amazing Heroes? I don't know.
The characters from like I said, he was from, I think he was a one-shot, but he could have been in more than one, but he was Jerry Robinson and Mort Meskin, probably around the time that they did the Black Terror.
Well, you'd think they would have listed the original character creators, but they probably don't because of copyright reasons, right?
They don't.
It says these are all considered. No, it said these characters are all considered public domain.
Yeah, but I'm saying they could still credit the creators.
Yeah, no, I hear it.
With that,
the blue flame is basically
right.
The blue flame is basically the original Human Torch. He's blue with those little lines across his body. It's the same exact thing.
Was 1939. I don't know how does he predate him?
I don't know. It says the Blazing Hero, Blue Flame. Anyway, these are available right now, kids. They're from Retroverse, and they're put together by a company called Fresh Monkey Fiction. So I wish I could get a hold of them.
Fresh Monkey.
I don't know who would buy a Captain Terrificon action figure, but I would.
Well, you could sell them at your show.
I could sell them at my show.
Show as a keepsake.
I could. I have beer glasses this year, Pilsner glasses.
How much did you do a bobblehead?
I did. I did a custom bobblehead a couple years ago. I sold those for $30. They were sold out in minutes, so I should do that again.
Did you meet one? What the?
No, I bought the Conan O'Brien. I don't have it anymore. The Conan O'Brien superhero. And all I did was paint his hair from orange to black, and he had sunglasses on it, and I just had to change the suit from red and blue to yellow.
You did it, or you paid somebody?
No, I did it. I did it. I have a lot of free time on my hands, so I don't have one anymore. I used to have one.
That's too funny.
No. Oh, look what I got for Christmas. Those Marx figures. Well, you can't see it because the green screen.
It's like you're being censored.
Again, this is the fun with the green screen, kids.
Wait, hold it up, and I want to see what, because behind it, I'm seeing a background. It's
the Roy Scheider. That's what it's from. That's that thing I was doing. Look,
that's too funny.
Dun, 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 dun. There it is. So yeah. I don't know why that's still doing it, because I don't have it on green screen. But yes, I got those Marx figures. That they can't. These PVC figures from 1960 something.
Well, can you see mine?
Yours are painted. These aren't painted. These are just solid.
Mine are up there on top.
Yeah, Jerry has his painted, but I only have 5. I think they made 7 or 8 of them. I
painted mine with model paints.
I've got Spider-Man, Captain America, Thor, Hulk, and Daredevil. I'm missing Iron Man, I think.
Iron Man, Daredevil, Hulk.
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Oh, so they only made 6.
And Thor.
I got Thor.
You don't have Spider-Man?
I do have. I just showed you Spider-Man, that green invisible thing. So
Spider-Man, Hulk,
Daredevil. Thor, did you say Daredevil?
Daredevil, Iron Man, Captain America.
Yeah, all right. So I'm missing Iron Man, but these are only solid color.
Yeah. Well, mine was solid colors too. I painted mine.
Oh, you painted it to look like that? Well,
mine were gray.
Yeah, these were green. And I tell you, as a kid, I'd go with my grandma to Kresge's, which is now Kmart. SS Kresge's. And these used to be in a barrel, like a garbage can. I think they were 2 for $1 maybe, or maybe 3 for $1. But they also had Disneyland characters. I remember they had Mickey Mouse and Goofy and Donald Duck. And they were these hard plastic I don't know what you want to call them, just figures, I guess. So
they're just molded, extruded plastic figures.
But these were out in the '60s, right? Like, because you had them when you were a kid, or how old were you when you got yours? Like 12?
I think I got these through
Mail order.
Marvel Mania.
Oh, okay.
So it would have been like 71.
Yeah.
1970 or 71.
Yeah, and I saw them in New Haven, and with my grandma. So when I was like 5 or 6, so that'd be 72. Yeah, that's about right.
The next wave of them, they used the sculpts, and they just put them in
Look, that's Jabberjaw. He was a shark that talked like Curly Howard. It's nothing to do with Jaws, but that's about it. He was in a thing called Hanna-Barbera. Hey, how you doing? Well, it never made sense why he was talking like Curly, but he did.
I had Tennessee Tuxedo.
Oh, that was Don Adams.
Yeah.
And who was the other guy? Chuck McCann? Was he Chumley?
Yep, Chumley. Yep, it was the walrus and the penguin.
Yeah, the penguin. And then they would go see Mr. Weatherby, right? Wasn't that the guy?
Remember. I don't even remember anymore.
They would go see some guy, I thought, with a closet, and he had like a board, and he'd like draw stuff for him, like, oh, let me explain to you, Tennessee.
Not Mr. Peabody and Sherman.
No, that's who I'm thinking of, I guess. Yeah, the kid with the dog, and the dog was the smart one, and the kid was stupid.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's fun, kiddies? This entertainment value is going to go even better at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning when I'm on another show. You understand? You got to remember, I've been up since 5:30 this morning. I did the radio show. I did top 10 Batman gadgets, and then I tried to go back to sleep, and then I got up again at 7, and then I said, screw it, I'm up for the day, and now I'm talking to you, and I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to get up and do this 9 o'clock show, and I think that's it for tomorrow. Oh, I was supposed to be on Pina Comics. Oh, and I could talk about this. Last week, no, this is going to make sense. And this is like a 2-hour show. This is our big summer. It's not summer, is it? This is our winter supersized spectacular.
It's really cold out.
It's cold out. It's only 6. Let me just tell you how cold it is outside. Looking at the phone.
The wind is howling.
It is howling. It is now 15 degrees out. With the wind chill factor, it feels like -2. Can you see that, kiddies? -2.
A couple miles from you.
Yeah.
It's probably around 10.
-10?
The other morning, it was about 2 below.
Yeah.
When I got up. That was whatever day. I think it was Tuesday. Monday or Tuesday.
Sorry, kiddies. I yawned. Yes.
It was below 0. It was very cold. And I went out and ran. Cold. I put on long underwear. I put on an extra sweater.
Long john.
And then I went out, and it was like, I think I probably shouldn't run.
Oh God, Saturday, it's only going to be a high of 17 degrees out.
Yeah. Well, that's what the winds are for.
Keep the brass monkeys in, kiddies.
It was slightly warmer today, so the winds are taking the temperatures back down.
The winds of war. Now listen how I'm going to tie all that in. The winds of war in Bridgeport. Dan Curtis, the producer. The reason why I'm mentioning this, 50 years ago this Tuesday that just passed, the 11th, I think it was, the Night Stalker with Darren McGavin premiered on the ABC Movie of the Week, starring Darren McGavin, Barry. So I just realized my shark's missing one of its fins. This is the shit that happens. But anyway, Barry, not Barry Diller, Barry something. He played the vampire. I can't think of his name right now. It's not the guy from The Office.
But he was a stuntman.
It's not Rainn Wilson.
He was a stuntman.
He was the guy that played Scorsese. Skorzeny. And the reason why we bring that up is because there's a Kickstarter. Now, last Friday, I was co-hosting another show, which will be on Sunday night, called Pina Comics. And we have the fellow that's doing the Kickstarter on the show, for Kolchak the Night Stalker 50th anniversary celebration.
Yep.
And he's talking to me about it. He works for Moonstone Comics, and they're putting together a bunch of Kolchak's original short stories, some printed ones. It's going to be a huge omnibus of all these Kolchak stories. And I'm like, well, that's fantastic, because I'm a big Kolchak fan. I got the thing. And then the guy says, well, this year on the Blu-ray that just got released. And I said, hold the presses. What are you talking about? He said, oh, there was a re-release of the original series with all new material, bonus audio commentary, and all that stuff. And I go, wow, because I have copies of The Night Stalker on DVD from like the late 90s, early 2000s, and they were cheap. They put 2 episodes front and back on DVD. I don't even think they do that anymore. Like one side would be because it was dumb. Because if you scratched it, you ruined both or whatever. So I said, oh, I did not know about this new Blu-ray release of The Night Stalker. At that very moment, as I'm talking to this guy on this radio show that we're recording, Jerry Ordway, who is now on the show, texts me on my phone at the same time, unbeknownst that I'm talking to this gentleman, and says, oh, I'm going to watch The Night Stalker on Blu-ray that my daughter Rachel gave me for Christmas. And I go, holy crap. I just found out about that seconds ago, and I'm talking to the guy that's doing a Kickstarter. And then Jerry says, oh, I just did a cover for a Kolchak project.
Did he mention my name?
And I tell the guy on the radio, oh, my friend, America's favorite artist, Jerry Ordway, just texted me about The Night Stalker. You'd think the guy would put 2 and 2 together and realize it's probably the same Jerry Ordway that he has working on his Kickstarter project, but he didn't put 2 and 2 together. And then you sent me the image of Darren McGavin standing on a porch confronting Janos Scorsese, the vampire. And the guy didn't even know. And then you told me, but I'm like, the odds of you texting me the same moment this guy's telling me about the Blu-ray was mind-boggling. The coincidence was insane. So yeah, anyway, so kids, go back that project because I paid the money, Jerry, to get the copy that had your cover on it.
Did you?
The other cover was by J.G. Woodward?
They had a bunch of them, I think. They had like maybe 3 or 4 or maybe even more.
Well, I bought the one supporting Ordway because I know you're going to call me up and go, hey, I got 10 free copies. You want one? I'm like, no, I already bought one. So
he, no, I probably won't get extras on that. But he said that they asked me if I would sign 20 of them.
Yeah.
And by the time he'd sent me the message earlier in the day, and when I got back to him, like in the afternoon, he said, well, I'm glad you said yes because they're already sold or something.
Oh, that's even, well, you know what was amazing? It only went up on Monday.
Yeah.
This past Monday, the 10th. And I remembered it around 12 o'clock. I'm like, oh, geez, I got to go sign up. A lot of the stuff was already gone. Yeah. Like a lot of the one-offs, because the grand prize or the grand Kickstarter, whatever you call it, bonus pledge or whatever, incentive was for, I think, $300. You got to keep the original painting that Woodward did for the cover, which I thought was really nice. You got the book, you got a T-shirt, you got a bunch of other prints, but you got the original artwork. That's pretty nice for only $300.
So they must have done okay with their, so far they must have done pretty well.
Well, it was at $13,000 or $14,000 on Monday.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the goal was, but I'm sure they must have hit it because, you know, they were doing pretty good. I hope they hit it because I want my Jerry Ordway cover to come out. So kids, go to Kickstarter.com and type in the words, I think The Night Stalker or Kolchak, Kolchak, and you could bid on, or not bid, you don't bid on it. You
pledge and you
pledge.
Get a book.
You get a book. And you get T-shirts and prints and a bunch of other cool stuff for The Night Stalker. And they're also opening, if you're still listening to this, they're taking fan submissions. They're going to do another Kolchak thing where fans who have a pension or Mrs. Pinchon for writing fiction, you could write a Kolchak the Night Stalker story. And they'll publish it, which I was like, really? You could do that?
Well, they probably just make you sign a voucher or something.
Yeah, I was going to say you won't sue them in case it becomes a big hit. Yeah. But anyway, that was cool. Did you watch Kolchak the Night Stalker when it first came on?
I remember watching the movies.
Yep.
Because they were a big deal. They had a huge
It was the
audience
biggest
too.
TV movie of its time.
Yeah, it had like a Super Bowl size audience.
Yeah, it did. It literally did. It had like 30% of the country or more watched it when it premiered. That's a huge thing, you know.
Well, it was I remember an ABC thing, I think.
It was on ABC,
Yeah.
Movie of the Week. Yep.
When the
Gavin,
series,
Carol Lumley was in it too.
I think I watched the series, but I think I remember it being bounced around in time slot, like
It did.
Preempted stuff. Because
I used to watch. It was on Friday nights, and then they moved it around a lot. And I remember watching it as a kid. The TV series. It only lasted 22 episodes.
Yeah, but I was amazed that it was 22 episodes. I was like, wow, that's actually a lot more than I thought.
Yeah. No, because you can only remember about 5 or 6 really good ones. And then you're like, wait a minute.
Well, I mean, the setup is fun, even when the villains are crappy.
Yeah.
The setup is still fun because there's always some, good humor.
Well, McGavin was a very good actor, comedic. And then Simon Oakland, who played his publisher, Tony Vincenzo, was really funny too.
Well,
and
the other thing is
the writing was good.
David Chase was the story editor, and David Chase wrote several episodes.
David Chase from The Sopranos, yeah,
which is kind of funny. He actually does an interview on the Blu-ray.
And Bob Gale, I don't know, is he on that Blu-ray? He's the guy from Back to the Future.
I only saw
Zemeckis did an episode.
The beginning thing had like a opening statement by David Chase, talking about how he got really pretty soon after graduating from film
I was
school.
going to say he had to be young, like 74, 75, because they did the first movie which was huge. Then they did a sequel to it.
He didn't work on different people working on the series than did the movies.
Yeah, no, because
been associated with the series.
Well, here's the deal. Universal owns the rights to the TV series.
Yeah.
And the TV movies are owned by ABC.
Which is Disney.
Which is Disney now. Yeah. So that's craziness. So what it is, you can't get them all on one box set. You'll get the movies on one.
No, I think the movies are on this Blu-ray set.
Are they all on one big set?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that'll be a first because they're two different companies. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't think they put them all on one disc.
No, it's like the complete set. So.
Oh, all right. And they don't have that horrible reboot they did they? That sucked.
No. I like the one though, because I remember not liking it, but then again, it only lasted 7
I'll
episodes.
give it to you. I have it. I bought it. It was like in a bargain bin for like $5. It's only like 8 episodes.
Yeah, it was the guys who did the X-Files.
Frank Spanowitz. Yeah. Yeah, it's not that good. They try to make it like the X-Files. They try to make it this big overarching story arc or
well, and that guy was too pretty boy to be a
Stuart Townsend.
Yeah, he was too. The thing about Darren McGavin is he was like Columbo. He was
the average Joe. Yeah,
he had all the character. They needed somebody like that doing it rather than
a pretty boy.
Leading man.
Yeah. Well, he dated Charlize Theron for like a long time. Not that she was dating dogs, but no, he
character-wise, you need a guy who's like you need a character actor for that part. You don't.
Well, the other thing is, he played Dorian Gray in the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yeah, and he was supposed to be Aragorn on Lord of the Rings, but
really?
He either quit or got fired, and they brought in Viggo Mortensen.
Oh, that was a better decision. Oh, you'll wish you didn't fire me when I'm the star of The Night Stalker. Crickets. Anyway, The Night Stalker, that was one of my favorite shows. 2 TV movies. Night Strangler was the second one with Richard Anderson, a.k.a. Oscar Goldman. And then there was a third one that they were supposed to do, but they didn't do it.
So. The 2 movies were both written by Richard Matheson.
From Psycho fame and Twilight Zone.
Twilight Zone. He didn't do Psycho. That was Robert Bloch.
Oh,
Richard Matheson wrote he wrote the classic Twilight Zone, the William Shatner one.
Oh, Nightmare 20,000 Feet. You know what I'm thinking of?
Simon. And he wrote Legend.
No, Simon Oakland is in Psycho. He's the psychiatrist at the very end of the movie that describes what happened to Norman Bates. Yeah.
And Ted Knight is one of the police guys at the end too.
Is he really?
He is, yeah.
Oh, I did not know that. He's
one of the guys who brings, I guess, Norman Bates into the cell or wherever his padded cell.
Now watch how I wrap this up. Now Ted Knight, as kids might know, was the voiceover of the Super Friends, which was an animated show on TV, and animation was one of the things that John Buscema got into. Right?
No.
I'm trying to bring it together. Trying to bring it all back. No, didn't they do a Fire and Ice movie? Remember
no,
that? Frazetta.
Frank Frazetta did it, yeah.
Nothing to do with John Buscema whatsoever.
No, not John Buscema, no.
Well, wait, no. Roy Thomas wrote Fire and Ice with Jerry Conway, and Roy Thomas was famous for writing Conan, which is where John Buscema made his fame. And there we go. One full, complete 2 hour and 60
minutes. Turn into Larry King.
Yeah, this is the Larry King Show. How are you? Thank you for joining us tonight. My guest is Jerry Ordway. Jerry, how did you start your cookies? The archways. That's you, right? Hello, everybody. You might know my next guest, Jerry Ordway. He was on Law and Order for many years. He's got a very distinctive voice, and he was also in the Disney blockbuster Beauty and the Beast.
And quite a song and dance man.
Quite a song and dance man. So, Jerry, tell us, do you miss the Broadway stage?
I miss being alive.
You heard it here first, folks. This is Larry King. Look at my suspenders. I've got 9 wives. I don't know how that's possible.
He's dead too, so
I'm dead. I've got more money than Jesus himself. Not that Jesus had money, because he was a carpenter's son and he had no shoes. So I guess that's not a good thing. Now I'm turning into Paul Harvey.
On the streets of New York once back in.
Did you really?
Yeah, back in the late '80s when he was on Law and Order.
He was.
He was jogging. He was in his jogging, like his sweats, and it was clearly recognizable. It's like when you see somebody and they see you, and they just kind of look like, "Please don't say my name." Like they don't. I just want to run.
You're back. I get that all the time.
A little nod, like you.
Yeah, no. I've done it, especially around here. We live We live in an area that has a lot of famous people, so you kind of see people and go, "Hey." I always think it's awkward if there's movie actors or actresses you've seen naked in movies, and then you meet them in real life, and you kind of go, "Well, I see what you look like naked. Would you like to see me naked?"
Yeah.
And that's why we're doing this video podcast tonight, kids, because after 210 episodes, you demanded it, and we're going to show you right now. Wait, what's that I'm hearing? Oh, we're running out of time now. We're out of videotape.
Wait, here, I'm taking my shirt off right now.
Hold on. So am I. Whoa. Whoa. I watched Boba Fett this week. They had like a chase on mopeds. The Power Rangers.
You liked it or not? You liked it?
You know what? Look, I grew up watching the Ewok movies and the Hollywood special or whatever, the holiday special. So I don't care. I mean, it's better than that crap.
I like it. I don't think it's as exciting as The Mandalorian.
No way. No.
But it's good. It's a slower build. It doesn't have the humor in that same way.
Well, he's not as good as, I don't know.
Well, he's right. He's flat.
He's kind of dry. Yes. It's kind of like, he's not Yul Brynner-esque, but
right. Well, that's good.
One of those guys, you know.
Charles Bronson.
Yeah. Charles Bronson would be good. It's like, you want to see me emote? You want to see me naked? I only have one expression. This is it. Smile.
Well, he can wear the helmet. It doesn't matter, right? It's got the same amount of.
Put the helmet on. I tell you, for a guy with a jetpack, he does a lot of walking. I'm like, holy Christ.
That's true.
They just keep walking into town. Oh, I got to go talk to the mayor. Let's go walk over there. I'm like, don't you people have a car?
You know? Don't you have a jetpack?
Don't you have a jet? Yeah, why don't you just fly over there? It's like, here he comes, walking down the street again. And then they keep flashing back and forth with the sand people and, you know, It's like a man called horse. I'm expecting him to be like strung out between two banthas with ropes tied to his nipples and pulling him. That's the Richard Harris movie.
Ring Around the Rosie.
Yeah.
I think the show's it's still decent.
It's only just 3 episodes in. Maybe it'll get good.
Yeah. But it's got a different tone. That's what I was getting at, is that The Mandalorian had Baby Yoda, who was comedy relief for the most part.
The only comedic characters they have the guy that's the voice, What We Do in the Shadows or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah, right, as the robot, Matt Berry.
Yeah. That's about it. Look, Fat Captain America.
He came with what, Oreo cookies?
The Batman's getting Oreo cookies this week, but not in America.
Really?
Yeah. He's getting, you know how they have you go to store that's like, there's the Oreo cookie aisle. They have like 50,000 flavors.
Yeah.
And Batman is getting his own to tie into the movie The Batman coming out in March. But not in the US though.
That's weird.
I don't know. I think I think people are pissed. They're like, what the hell?
Is it open earlier in the in overseas?
No. March, we get it first, like March 3rd or something like that. But that's another podcast. That's for another day. Spider-Man's making $100 billion or whatever.
Have you saw it again?
I saw it with my family the second time. Yeah, Sharon fell asleep a couple times, but whatever. I can't help her. I'm like, well, it's one of the best Spider-Man movies ever. And I look over and she's falling asleep.
Yeah, but it's just not her. It's not her interest.
If it was on Hallmark, she'd be all awake. But
right. I mean, but conversely, you get to doze off during stuff that she likes.
Oh God, I do it all the time. Literally, I fell asleep in the chair.
Does she elbow you when you're snoring?
She goes, "Oh my God, will you please go in the other room if you're going to snore during my shows?" I'm like, "Wait, what? What? Was I sleeping? I could feel the hand falling out."
Yeah. Well, there's this. People don't. Well, I'm sure people do understand it because it's a universal thing. But when you're older, and your day starts early, you start winding down. And if I sit in my comfy chair and I start watching a show, pretty soon you just start closing your eyes, and it's like, oh, it's so nice to sleep. And then you wake up and you the show is over, and you're like, well, I think I saw the first 10 minutes. So then the next day, I will usually try to re-watch the thing.
You're describing all our listeners right now, Jerry. And God knows, I can't believe it's almost 2.5 hours. What the hell, Jer?
Well, let's go.
It's like an epic. This is an epic. This is what happens. I didn't see you since Spider-Man. That's the last time I talked to you.
Yeah.
Was that like almost a month ago? So this is what happens. Yeah. We have weeks of boredom built up, so we can get together and just be bored. And usually there's pizza and beer, so you don't feel it. But now this is it. People want to see what it's like.
I would have rather had. So hey, here's the question:
What
in the visual one? Am I going to be a little box in the corner with a big Mitch head, or
we're going to be side by side,
so people will be able to see all the pornography I have in the background?
Jesus God, Ordway, sure. Funniest joke I heard, and then we're going to go. You made me remember something. I don't think anybody's watching this. God knows if they are. Who knows? This guy Manny, who comes to my shows, one of my security guys, he puts every day he puts a joke up. He says people will come up to him at shows and conventions and say, "You look very familiar. How do I know you?" And he goes, "I do a lot of porn." I think that's a great comeback. So I'm going to use that from now on. Do I know you from somewhere? Do you watch a lot of porn? Yeah.
You may remember me from.
You might remember me from the postman always rings 6 times or something like that. Well, that's it. I got nothing. You got anything to plug this week?
Nah.
Any books out this week? Any cover variants or something? Nothing?
Well, The Wrong Earth, whenever that comes out. I think they're soliciting. They're starting to promote it. I'm working on a Stargirl special, a 38-page special, but I don't know when that comes out.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it probably comes out maybe later, like May or something, maybe. It has to be somewhere.
Yep.
Yeah.
I got a convention in March called GamerCon. I got a convention called Terrificon. That's all I got. I got no posters. I got nothing. I got to go shovel the driveway next week when it snows, and that's about it.
I just yawned for everybody.
Yep. Well, I'm sure they've done that already a couple times listening to this. So. Anyway, that's it, kids. We're saying goodnight. If you like to watch Jerry and I live in person, we'll start selling tickets to this, like one of those pay-per-views.
Yeah, like a battle royale.
Right? Yeah, like one of those things this week. And then we can start doing tours of what's behind us. Like people always want to know what books I have back there. A lot of stuff that I've kind of read and haven't read. Those are all the Marvel stuff. And the DC, there's no DC's around the corner, actually. There's another bookcase with right Jerry's stuff. Jerry's
mostly, stuff. I guess you could see some toys hanging on the wall, but mostly
some Shazam. Is that Shazam figures? Yeah, that's Shazam. And then there's Jerry's CDs, and then the curtains and something about Marvel. Yeah, that's about it.
Spider-Man
stuff. Yeah, it's crazy in here. Stuff everywhere. Oh, look at that! There's there's he does what a living. Look at that. Books, look at that artwork. Ooh, Jerry Ordway artwork. Now, what are you gonna do with all that artwork?
It's cold. I burned the fireplace.
Oh, there I was gonna say. You gonna sell that?
Anyway. You can sell it for me.
Sure. I got to come by and drop off this box of books sometime next week or whatever for you. I don't know what.
Well, I would like to know what it is and what I'm supposed to be
I'm
doing.
going to soak it in water first to make sure it doesn't blow up. I hope it's not comic books. I don't know. I'll drop it off of the comic shop.
Say goodnight. Say goodnight.
Good night. Hold on. Let me hit end recording. And there. Wait a minute. No, I don't have to do that. Hold on.